time. Schools will be split. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever live Pacific Alliance of Collegiate Gamers broadcast. We are coming to you guys live from the Einar Nielsen Fieldhouse at the beautiful University of Utah campus in Salt Lake City. I am Seth White Ninja. I'm a former professional StarCraft 2 player. I've competed in MLGs all across the nation, quite a few online tournaments. Now I've kind of turned into one of those one-trick tracer mains that you see lurking around in the master tier ladder. And I am joined here today with my awesome co-caster,
Xander or Zader, whatever you'd like to call me. I'm a up-and-coming collegiate gamer as far as Overwatch goes here for the University of Utah, and man, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here right now, Seth.
Me as well, Xander. It's definitely a privilege to be here casting some Overwatch for you guys. Since this is the first week of our PACG spring tournament, PACG stands for Pacific Alliance of Collegiate Gamers, by the way, why don't you give us a rundown as to how the tournament's going to be playing out over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, of course. The PACG spring season is actually 4 different tournaments here. We're going to have one for League of Legends, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Rocket League, respectively. For the next 8 weeks, the best players from 8 schools are going to head-to-head every weekday night in the group stages. Overwatch will be played every Tuesday night, starting at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Schools will be split into 2 different regions. Each school will have the chance to face every other school in their region in a set of 4 match consisting of all escort, assault, control, and hybrid maps.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action for you guys.
Yeah, and at the end of the group stage, we are going to have the top 3 teams from each region go to the playoffs. That will be a single elimination bracket with the top team advancing directly to the semifinals. And finally, it will all end on Finals Friday when the final games for all League of Legends, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Rocket League will be played all on the same night.
Definitely a lot of action that we have coming in for you guys over the next couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the regions that we're going to be having here. Looks like we're going to have the South Division, which is composed of Arizona, Arizona State, UCLA, and USC. And then the North Division, which is going to be Colorado, Oregon, Stanford, and your very own University of Utah.
Yeah, and you know, it's really exciting to see both of these divisions come out here, 4 teams for each division, and only will be growing from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty interesting to see how many schools that we actually have to come out and do with this. Let's talk about tonight's schedule, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and here is tonight's schedule. We have first, coming up, this first game will be Colorado versus Oregon, and this is going to be a very exciting match here for everybody. And coming up just right after that, we will have our show match consisting of Stanford versus UCLA.
And then next Tuesday, we're going to be having Arizona and USC, and then Colorado and Stanford, so you guys are not going to want to miss that. Why don't you give us some information on what you think about the first matchup today, Colorado versus Oregon?
Well, you know what? Colorado versus Oregon is definitely going to be a very interesting thing here today, as we see Colorado and Oregon having very similar SR ranges here as far as their team members go. We have about a 2,000 average SR coming out for University of Oregon, and University of Colorado coming out with around a 2,800 SR average between all of their team members. So Colorado having a little bit of an upper hand here.
Yeah, and then for our show match, which is going to be between Stanford and UCLA, quick rundown as to what the show match is going to be. It's cross groups, so it's going to be from two teams in either the North Division or the South Division, and then they're going to be playing against each other. It's just for fun, so there's no competitive points or anything that's going to be lost for that. It's an isolated matches, so wins and losses show no count in the scores towards their group, and it's purely to showcase teams that would not normally play, just so if you guys feel like, oh, what if this team from this division would match up against this team from that division, I feel like that team's going to win. Well, now this is going to give you guys an opportunity to kind of see how those teams are going to play up against each other.
Yeah, definitely exciting to see all these show matches coming out. I'm honestly really excited to see our show match tonight. It should be a whole lot of fun.
Now, for our first matchup, Colorado and Oregon, Xander gave us a little bit of a rundown on those guys coming into this, how University of Colorado definitely has a higher average rank on the Overwatch ladder in comparison to the University of Oregon. That being said, though, University of Oregon has got some pretty good players to their team. Why don't you give us a rundown on that, Sander?
Yeah, and here we see Oregon here with RoboCrab being one of their flex players. Actually, University of Oregon having a lot of flex players. We're definitely going to see a lot of switch-ups here, so we'll see everybody playing a lot of different heroes, which will be really interesting. But RoboCrab, you know, starting off with that flex role, playing a lot of Diva, Lucio, and Roadhog. Here we're coming in to Tate the Great. Amazing name there. You're gonna be that support main running that Mercy, Lucio, Zenyatta. And then we have here we have Chang, another flex player here for the University of Oregon. He's going to be playing mainly on Zarya, Doomfist, his top ladder heroes there. Concept is going to be playing on a lot of the Assault heroes, and he's going to be playing Tracer, McCree, and Roadhog.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how Oregon has this many flex players on their team. Usually when you have Overwatch teams, you see them, each player has a very specific role that they try and focus on. Here we see that RoboCrab, who actually I think is the highest ranked person in the matchup today, he looks like he's in Masters, top Master tier. He's going to be one of the more impactful players, and to see his mains be Diva, Lucio, and Roadhog, that's kind of diverse, so they can flex him from tank, they can flex him to support. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to support him, flex him onto DPS, so we may not have him be as impactful as he might be if he was on a DPS player. But that being said, we see that Tsarfish, if that's how you want to pronounce that, he's also right up there on the Overwatch border with RoboCrab. He plays Mercio, Lucio, and Zenyatta, so he's also a support main. So it looks like the best two players for both teams are going to be the support. So they're going to be relying a lot on the backs of their DPS players.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see here. I mean, you might see Colorado running a lot of triple tank comps, actually. As we see, they have 3 main tanks. And it's definitely going to be interesting. You know, we see Atomic Spoon, Dry Grasses, and Minecraft Kid, also a great name, running there as the tanks for the University of Colorado.
I feel like everyone who plays Minecraft is a kid, so it kind of fits a little bit. Looks like that, yeah, like you were saying along those lines, Colorado, QSmith14 seems to be their only dedicated DPS main. It's kind of interesting to only run one. Most teams these days, since the Mercy nerf came out a couple weeks ago, most teams have been having to fill that void with either 1 or 2 dedicated support players and then triple tank, like you were saying before, and then they'll usually run a Lucio or a Zenyatta or something like that. It's going to be interesting to see how Colorado is going to be able to match up against Oregon. It looks like University of Colorado, rather, has the more normal team comp, and they are higher ranked, so that kind of makes sense. But that being said, University of Oregon, with all their flex coming out, they can play someone super crazy. They could bring out Symmetra on the first point. It's going to be pretty interesting to see these players match up against each other in today's match.
Yeah, and you know, this being today's first match, we never know what these teams are going to pull out, and we have no idea how these teams are going to perform today, and it will definitely be interesting to see exactly what goes down. But we are going to go ahead and move on to the maps that we are going to show off today.
Looks like the first map that we're going to be up on today is a famous payload map, Dorado, one of my all-time favorites. Sander, how do you feel about the map?
You know, I really love Dorado, you know, it being the classic, one of the classic maps coming out at the start here when Overwatch was released. You know, everybody loves Dorado, everybody loves pushing that payload.
Yeah, it's great. You definitely, the map is kind of defined by lots of choke points and plenty of flanking opportunities. So look for a lot of Widowmaker, look for a lot of Tracer. Heck, one of the teams might even bring out Protect the President, Torbjorn, Orisa, and Reinhardt.
Yeah, and you know, we honestly might see a lot of Bastion here. You know, we might see some pirate ship. You never know what these teams are going to do. You know, it's definitely just going to be something really interesting. But it looks like we are going to go ahead and get started here with the match. It looks like the teams have gone already here in the game. And here we're going to go into a map overview real quick.
Yeah, as I was saying before on Dorado, you can see how it's got a whole bunch of stairs that lead up into flanking opportunities and up-close rooms and stuff like that, and then it comes out into these wide, long viewpoint maps where you can favor Widowmakers or more hit-scan heroes, and then it comes right back into these curvatures with the stairs and the high ground, and it's got the difference and balance between the two. So it's going to be interesting to see what comps these two are bringing out.
And here we go.
We have Oregon, University of Oregon and University of Colorado hitting it off for you guys.
Here we see the, it looks like University of Colorado here starting there on the on the defense, you know, running that Mercy, Moira, Soldier, Lucio, and then the Orisa and Diva. It looks like they're actually, that looks like a Junkrat there on the team as well.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pick right there from Colorado with the Junkrat and the Soldier 76. However, that being said, Oregon is doing a great job of pushing it through this first point right here. They're already underneath the bridge on Dorado.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that they're not able to push this very much onto the attack. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what they're going to be able to do here.
And here we have Oregon pushing on through with that. It looks like they're going to be relying heavily on the back of that Moira. She's throwing some Discord pulses down through there, going to be dealing a lot of damage. That being said, Q Smith, Soldier 76, and the Orisa player for Colorado State are doing a great job of holding it off and making sure that Oregon doesn't get any type of progression coming through. Looks like Oregon's trying to push through, and Q Smith with a great pickoff on the opposing Soldier 76. Fantastic work there from Colorado.
Yeah, and here we see Concept really trying to stay up in the air as Farah. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly what he's able to do. The Soldier really just focusing. We see the Junkrat tire picking off the Orisa, and that is going to make Oregon's push delayed ever so slightly.
Fantastic job from Atomic Spoon right there. Here we see RoboCrab, the best player in the team right here on Moira, holding that ultimate, looking for a good opportunity to try and push through here. Here we have Concept diving over the top on his Farah.
Yeah, here we see Concept really doing a good job of holding in the air, you know, holding those line of sights, you know, really not taking too much damage from that Soldier. And whenever he peeks out, though, that Soldier really is trying to take care of Concept as much as possible. Here he sees the ult coming out here from Moira, initiating this push. Here we see Concept also using his ultimate there in the background. He's going to get picked off by Soldier.
Q Smith going down, taking out Concept immediately while he was in her ultimate. Here we have Mercy taking a lot of flack, but she still retains that Valkyrie. She still retains that res, and it looks like Oregon's going to be pushing this payload ever so slightly.
Here looks like Oregon. They're going to have to back off here. They're not going to. They don't really do not have much to do here as far as that push goes. I don't know what they're going to be able to do.
Colorado did a fantastic job there of stopping the push from Oregon. Oregon had 2 of their ultimates ready when they went onto that point, and then Colorado, Q Smith specifically, shut it down without a hesitation. Fantastic job from Colorado. Looks like the payload is actually on the decline, coming into 1.5 minutes left on the first point.
Yeah, Oregon really having a hard time pushing in. Looks like they're going to switch off of that Farah as well into McCree, and it'll be definitely interesting to see the double hit scan here. A lot of DPS coming out from Oregon.
Here we have Concept on McCree trying to get some work done. I definitely agree with switching off of Farah. Q Smith just doing too good of a job on that hit scan character. Looks like he's going to be setting down that healing field. Biotic Field is going to do a great job on healing up Tsarfish as well as himself. Atomic Spoon, that being said, Concept takes him out. Immediately rezzed, though, however, by Drygrass's Mercy.
Yeah, here we see Urk here coming in as the Roadhog, getting in real deep. Here we see Mario Ultimate. All the ultimates here coming out from Oregon as much as they can. They really want to get this push off. Here we see Concept getting taken out. Eric getting taken out for Oregon.
Urk pushing everyone back, taking out Orisa with his whole hog. Q Smith doing a great job of taking him out. He's diving the backline onto this Mercy. Tac Visor popped right now. Orisa going down. Mercy taking a lot of flak damage. McCree having to retreat. Not a lot of people have actually died. That being said, fantastic job on Oregon, not taking any damage from that Tac Visor ulti out of Q Smith 14.
Yeah, here we saw everyone get really low there. Q Smith dropping down to 11 health, having the need to really just back off there. And here we see Oregon here just going to have their last and final push here, the last hurrah. And see who can win this shield battle.
15 seconds left. Chang holding his ultimate, setting it down right there in front of his shield. It's contested. The point's not really moving anywhere. 10 seconds left. He's diving onto Atomic Spoon. That being said, he's being healed by Moira from Oregon State.
Yeah, here we see so many heals coming out onto Cheng. Concept and NoobTuber both taking out Drygrasses and Atomic Spoon here from University of Colorado. University of Colorado here down 2. It looks like with this push, University of Oregon is here going to have to push into overtime. This is going to be a consistent battle here.
System on Orisa doing a great job of trying to contest that point. That being said, he's the only one. He's isolated, and he goes down to Urk's Roadhog. It actually looks like they're going to be capable of pushing this point through to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and it looks like University of Oregon is going to be able to push into this first checkpoint. Like you said, here in overtime, they're going to get an extra 2 minutes and 30 seconds on this push. Hopefully they can keep this rolling.
Great push there from Oregon. I was not expecting them to be able to secure that first point. Colorado looking so solid with this double tank, near triple tank combo that we were talking about previously. However, they are going to just take it freely through this first corner right here. Looks like Oregon might be favoring to take the high ground. Let's see what they choose.
Yeah, you know, and Oregon is definitely going to take care of that Junkrat there on the high ground. He's just going to be raining bombs all over the place on them. Here we see Q Smith really just dealing a lot of damage, sticking behind that shield, doing a really great job.
He's doing a fantastic job, Xander, sitting right behind that Orsa shield, and holding his tac visor. Oregon State may not know that he has it. They need to be cautious moving into this point. If he gets a good position and dives in the backline, he's going to wreak havoc.
And here we see Colorado using basically all of their ultimates. Here we see both the Moira and the Orisa ultimate coming out here. A lot of damage here coming out from Colorado, holding this defense really well. Moira taking out both. It looks like 3 picks there for University of Colorado, going to hold Oregon back.
That being said, Urk was holding his whole hog ultimate the entire time. He elected not to use it on that push, and he died with it in his utility kit. He could have used that at any given moment, but he decided to hold on to it just in case they needed to do this further push.
Yeah, and definitely going to be a smart decision here as they come up with the next push. It looks like they're going to come up on another 2 ultimates here for University of Oregon.
Great work from Colorado, though, doing an awesome job of holding the point. Looks like it's on the retreat right now. Atomic Spoon holding that Junkrat ulti and Dry Glasses. Ooh, Tracer kind of fluffing a pulse bomb right there. Colorado holding the high ground.
Yeah, here we see here we see a Junkrat tire. He's going to try to... I'm not sure he's going to come all the way around.
He's a little lurpy. He's got 3 seconds left. Let's see what he can do with it. Ooh, Soldier 76. Great job from Atomic Spoon right there. Q Smith on top, still raining lots of damage onto that Oregon backline.
Yeah, University of Colorado cleaning up on that one. Here you can see the res on Orisa. The University of Oregon definitely going to want to hold this up as much as possible. Roadhog, Urk, still with that ultimate.
Great work from the Mercy player of Oregon to res the tank rather. Ooh, the hook on to Soldier 76 wasn't enough to pull him down. That could have been a glitch a little bit.
Just got canceled right there on the roof.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Cheng taking a lot of damage unnecessarily. He might have to back off. No, Mercy comes in with the heals. However, Soldier 76, 85% on his ult charge. 5 seconds left for them to push this point.
Yeah, here we're going to see University of Oregon go into overtime once more. Q Smith holding the high ground. Oregon is just not doing anything about this high ground control right now. Q Smith is just having a heyday. Here we see the tac visor coming out from Q Smith. His game is going to be able to clean up entirely on Oregon here.
An absolute massacre from Q Smith right here, immediately taking out 3 members of the Oregon team. Not a lot that they can do to answer this. It's in overtime. Only Roadhog is alive on the point, and he goes down as well.
Yeah, and here we see, Oregon not able to push fully through onto that push. Here we see them getting just about halfway to that second checkpoint.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse, but Q Smith, we need to talk about him for a second. University of Colorado, Q Smith, the Soldier 76 player, was an absolute menace onto University of Oregon. They couldn't go anywhere without him dropping down and pulling a tac visor. They couldn't go anywhere without him being on top of them on that bridge and just wreaking down onto their support players, their Mercies and their Moiras. What do you think about that, Xander?
Yeah, I definitely give it a lot of props here to Q Smith for holding that high ground and doing such a good job at just at just making sure that he didn't die and just getting the correct picks. And we saw that last play there with that tac visor, able to really just clean house, and he really didn't die.
I think he had 3 or 4 tac visors pop that game. Every single one, except for the first one that we saw, got it like a minimum of 3 players. And I think the most integral part of that matchup was when they were pushing the first point under the bridge, and Farah popped ultimate, and he took her out immediately with a Helix rocket. That type of reflexes completely alters a game. Great work from University of Colorado.
Yeah, and there we saw Colorado, really just taking care of that Farah and making them switch off to the McCree. McCree was doing, pretty well for them there for that last hoorah as a push, and they were able to actually push it into that first point in overtime. Oregon really doing a good job there.
Yeah, I agree with the pick of switching off of the Farah to the McCree. When you have a Soldier 76 player that's doing that well and is that on fire, it's going to be near impossible to be playing one of those high-flying characters like Mercy or Farah. So definitely a great pick to switch off to McCree. I think it was just too little too late. Colorado had too much momentum at that point. They weren't letting the payload go anywhere. And then even though they gave it up on that first push, they still were able to hold it on the second, just a little bit over half, like you were saying.
Yeah, just a little bit over half there. We saw great performance there from Oregon and great performance there from Colorado. Both teams really showing that they know their stuff.
Looks like we're going to be heading into the second match here between Colorado and Oregon. Let's see if Colorado is going to be able to push it further than Oregon did on Dorado. Here we have them running the Farah on Q Smith, and it looks like they're doing Protect the President with NoobTuber on Bastion. Fitting name for a NoobTuber.
Yeah, sitting on that Bastion is definitely a really interesting choice. It looks like they're just going to play a shield game. NoobTuber getting taken out immediately by Zenyatta. They have no idea what's going on here. The shield game is Colorado's just winning this shield game, taking out the shields immediately. Here we see 2 picks here onto Oregon.
Q-Smith doing a fantastic job of raining justice from above down onto that high ground that Oregon State tried to take. Almost the entire team of Oregon, to be honest, dropped almost immediately without any real effort being shown from Colorado. None of them are past 75% of their ult charges, and they're already secured on the first point. Less than 30 seconds.
Yeah,
that is a fantastic push from Colorado.
Colorado, pushing so brilliantly. They have 5 minutes here to push. Not even halfway to that second checkpoint. And Q-Smith here coming up on his ultimate. Here we see Atomic Spoon on the Hanzo.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pick. Atomic Spoon on Hanzo. Hanzo is not necessarily in the meta by any means, but Q-Smith on this Pharah is just a absolute terror. They're running the Ana, and I don't think he's taking any damage. This Pharmacy comp that Colorado's running is absolutely slaughtering them. His damage has got to be in the 20,000 at least.
Yeah, Concept is absolutely raining terror, or trying to rain terror there on that Pharah, but unfortunately that Mercy Pocket is just doing so well. And here we see that Pharah finally going down. But here we see also Colorado still getting more picks there on...
NoobTuber takes out Q-Smith's Pharah, and he's immediately rezzed by Drygrass. And he pops Justice from above. 2 people dropping down for Oregon, and Atomic Spoon actually using that scatter arrow to take out Urk.
Yeah, here we see Oregon backing off quite a bit on this push here. It looks like they might not be able to defend. It looks like Colorado is actually going to be able to push all the way. And it looks like Colorado is going to take this map.
That is a fantastic, clean push from Colorado. They didn't even seem like they were trying. That was not very intense, to be perfectly honest. They just walked out onto the map and they stuck their claim. Q-Smith specifically said, like, I'm playing Pharah. You guys are going to try and run a shield protection comp. No,
yeah,
not happening today.
Definitely interesting to see Q-Smith, they run that Pharah and just obliterate every single one of those shields. It just absolutely no effort. I mean, that Orisa shield, that 9-second cooldown, not enough.
Yeah, when you've got a Mercy on your back and she's damage boosting you on Pharah, how long do you think it took him to drop down that Orisa shield and take out the Bastion? I think it was like the first 4 rockets, and the entire composition was gone.
I believe it is 4 rockets there on that Orisa shield to just completely take it down. And as soon as that shield dropped, we saw that Bastion gone.
Yeah, definitely interesting to try and have them run a Protect the President comp on Dorado. I mean, it's not unheard of to have them put by Protect the President, I mean that you have the Bastion up on the high ground, and then you usually put a Reinhardt shield or an Orisa shield in front of it, and then you just sit there with your supports and let Bastion do all the work for you. Bastion's DPS is insane. The one flaw, however, is if you have a Pharah above the shield shooting you in the back of the head. That's something you can't work around with if you're trying to do Protect the President, Sander.
Definitely, and the distance that Pharah had there, Bastion becomes really inaccurate at those high distances and is not able to deal enough damage to Pharah with that Mercy on her to really take her out, and Pharah's just able to absolutely rain terror with all those rockets. And definitely something that University of Colorado needed to take care of. They needed a separate hit scan to take care of the Pharah, so they couldn't just run that shield down.
I completely agree. Had they been running, say, Widowmaker or something like that, Widowmaker could have easily just headshot the Pharah the second she went out the gate, because I think she left through the top of Dorado, actually. So that would have been a clean line of sight for Widowmaker to take out either the Mercy or the Pharah. They're both equally important picks, but they tried to run the Bastion comp. It didn't work out for them, and I don't think they switched off at all. They tried to do the exact same thing, but down on that left side corner on the second payload point, like right where the statue is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they held that left side corner, but we saw them move up top and kind of get themselves choked, and Pharah was just raining terror right into that hallway as they were trying to get up on that high ground, and they just took so much damage, and they were all about half health by the time they got up.
I completely agree. I think their problem was just not switching. They should have... It's completely okay for them to run the comp that they were trying to do, but after it got slaughtered in like the first 15 seconds, then they should have learned that you can't run that comp against Q-Smith's Pharah. Like, he's just not going to let it happen. And then they tried to do it on the second team reset when they were down in the corner, and they tried to do it on the third reset when they were up at the top. Actually, looks like we are getting ready to move here onto the next map right here. It's our double control point, Temple of Anubis. What do you think about the map, Sader?
Temple of Anubis is one of the worst maps that I play on right now, because that chokehold is just the worst thing to be able to push through. You push to the left and you're shoved in a choke. You push to the right and you're shoved in a choke.
Yeah, it's a pain. On Tracer, it's a little bit more easy because you can definitely do some blinks to the left and the right, but it's definitely not easy for the offensive team. Ooh, StarCraft 2, my favorite game right there. We got a... Ooh.
Oh.
You just had to do it. You just had to do it, Mercy.
Mercy doesn't like games.
Mercy
she doesn't
like
play
anything.
around.
Mercy, like, I think...
Jeff Kaplan just hates Mercy with every fiber of his being. Like, Mercy nerf after Mercy nerf after Mercy nerf. And it's kind of showing right here that she's just destroying the arcade a little bit. She doesn't seem too happy with the recent patch notes.
Yeah, and it's definitely interesting to see Mercy being run, still in this recent meta. That one resurrection, still worth it. Still worth having that Mercy.
Yeah, it's definitely... I wouldn't have expected Mercy to still be played after these patches. I thought the professional teams and the collegiate team specifically would have said, hey, Mercy just got nerfed. She's not worth it for us to run. We need to be taking Lucio so that we can dive even more hard than we were doing before, back when dive comp was the thing. Nope, they're still going to be running Mercy. Looks like that's just everyone's comfort pick. That being said, Colorado, Q-Smith on the Widowmaker. Concept as well for Oregon. Both teams running Widowmaker. Let's see if this sniper battle is going to be pretty important. Coming in here onto the first point on Temple of Anubis. Oregon on offense, Colorado on defense.
Oregon, we see running the Doomfist. Definitely a very interesting pick here. Definitely don't see a Doomfist here a lot, and hopefully these guys are going to be able to push through this chokehold. Winston and Diva diving directly onto that backline, going to get right into the action. Looks like Diva's going to get DMAC'd immediately, and NoobTuber is actually going to have to back off a lot.
Christ, Diva dove in way too hard right there. Immediately hooked by Minecraft Kid's Roadhog and shut down right off the bat. That being said, Concept and the rest of his team able to get a couple of good, clean kills on Q-Smith.
And he received that Mercy if that goes for the extra. Ooh!
Concept
taking advantage of that Mercy, thinking about that resurrection, making her
conceptual.
Conceptual.
Here we have Urk on Winston, a pretty good pick and diving this first point right here. That being said, Colorado still holding on firm. Winston actually diving in right here. Chang on Genji coming into the backline, putting some good damage onto Orza system.
Yeah, here we see System, keeping that shield up, trying to deal as much damage as she can, running around. Minecraft Kid getting really low, able to take a breather a little bit there. Here we see Oregon, you're not able to get enough picks. Q-Smith taking out Concept. Eric able to take out Atomic Spoon, but unfortunately Oregon is down on this push, and they're going to have to back off.
Q-Smith doing a great job of sniping the supports on Oregon's push right there. Looks like it's just Genji and Winston alive. He's actually getting dove on right there in a little bit of trouble, but that machine gun form on Mercy is going to be, ooh, Genji. Ooh, Genji, crispy.
Genji doesn't like the fact that Widowmaker took out his monkey.
Yeah, he doesn't like that at all. Minecraft Kid holding his whole hog ultimate. Q-Smith holding her nanovisor as well. Atomic Smith with his Junkrat tire. I don't see Oregon being able to push through these three ultimates.
Yeah, here we see Minecraft trying to take out Chang, and Chang is just sitting in the back line, kind of being a Genji.
He's being a good job of being an annoying little Genji player.
Yeah, here we see Dry Glasses getting taken out from Colorado. This is going to be a great opportunity for Oregon to be able to push on this. Atomic Spoon taking out the mech of Diva there. RoboCrab taking out System.
That being said, Minecraft Kid just pops his ultimate, knocking two people off the point. Atomic Spoon using his Junkrat tire and taking out NoobTuber and Baby Diva form. Take the Great actually rezzing NoobTuber. That being said, Eric's on the point.
Eric, just barely receiving any heals there on the point. He got really low. Minecraft Kid able to clean house on the point. Yes. RoboCrab gonna try to hold that point and contest as much as possible. It looks like he's going to be taken out here.
Isolated again as well there, Xander. There's not too much that they could have done. Once you have that Winston and the Lucio on the point and the rest of your team's dead, you're just there by yourself with this entire angry team of Colorado jumping down your throats. They're not going to last very long on that point, I can tell you that much.
All right, I definitely agree here. Colorado doing a great job on this defense. Starfish here we see on fire doing a great job at Zenyatta.
Ooh, Concept showing us that he can definitely play Widowmaker. Urk diving in right here with his Primal Rage ultimate, deciding to hold on to it. That being said, he's taking a lot of damage from the Orza, only at 400% great healing from his Mercy player.
We see him diving onto the backline, trying to get those healers. It looks like he got stuck in the trap there, unfortunately. He was going to jump on Minecraft Kid. He's still holding that ultimate. He's waiting to get low. He wants that health pool. Ooh.
Atomic Spoon with the Junkrat tire, taking out the Diva form and two players and a Minecraft Kid with the hook. That completely shut down Oregon's push. Concept not able to do too much damage in the backline. That was a great hold from Atomic Spoon and Colorado.
Yeah, Oregon is just not able to get enough picks here to be able to push. Colorado is just really holding them back. And here we see Oregon didn't really have a lot of ults. Yeah. Colorado almost has 3 ults again.
Q-Smith winning that Widowmaker 1v1. A quick replay right here, I think. No, nope, just this is the live feed. Looks like she's going to be popping her Infrasight as well, trying to get some good picks, putting some good damage onto Oregon's push, rather.
Here we see, they're just diving in again. Urk actually deciding to use his Primal Rage there on the Ultimate Q-Smith, getting a pick on the Diva Mech and Mercy.
Starfish right here doing great job of putting damage onto the tanks of Oregon, stalling that push. RoboCrab going down immediately, and a clean hold from Colorado. I don't think Oregon, no, they didn't. They didn't even get it past the first tick. Colorado looking seamless in this matchup between Oregon and Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado really, really doing a great job at just holding that point. That, like I said, that chokehold is so hard to push through. Whether or not you run a dive comp, whether or not you run anything, I mean, it's just so hard to push through with that Orisa, able to just go unstoppable and not take any damage at all. You just have a hard time getting in there. And there was just not a lot of coordination that we saw there from, Oregon, and they just weren't able to push in.
I agree with you so much. They had the dive comp set up, a little bit of questionable choices running the Widowmaker on offense. I think it paid off to a degree. He did a good job of sniping some supports, won a couple Widowmaker 1v1 battles, but I don't think they had enough dive potential. Genji just wasn't enough DPS when they got in that in the back line. They were running triple tank, was it? They had the Orisa, they had the Roadhog.
They had Orisa, Roadhog, and I think that was it. They were just running two
tank.
tanks there, and then they, they had that Junkrat and that Widowmaker. And, Concepts Widowmaker, definitely. Concepts Widowmaker was getting ousted by Q-Smith. Q-Smith doing a really good job at making sure that Widowmaker wasn't getting any good picks.
I totally agree. If you're going to have a Widowmaker 1v1, you had best be damn certain on offense that your Widowmaker is going to be able to win that fight. Because if you don't, the defensive Widowmaker has such a better position. She doesn't have to leave the base. She doesn't have anywhere to go other than to just sit there and deal damage. So if you can take out the defensive Widowmaker, that opens up so many opportunities for your team to move safely onto the point. They were relying on Q-Smith's Widowmaker to deal damage, and he definitely came through on his job in that matchup.
Yeah, I know. Here we're going to go into the next match. Here we see Oregon going to be on the defense and Colorado here going to be on the attack. Minecraft Kid, here we see him on Diva instead of Roadhog there.
Atomic Spoon pushing up a little bit too far on Junkrat. That being said, he's being saved by that Diva and Orisa shield. Pretty well protected, putting great damage onto Oregon's front line. Q-Smith up on top, taking damage and forced to retreat. No picks so far this game.
Yeah, here we see Colorado here getting into that room there on the right side of the map, getting a little bit confused with the directions there. But here we see Erg taking a lot of damage, able to heal it off there with Take a Breather here, hopefully in a second.
This is not a spot you want to be in, Colorado. You can't be down there with Junkrat just putting lots of pain into that corridor. That being said, they're doing a great job of pushing him out. Colorado is moving through.
Yeah, and here we see Colorado actually able to get on the point here. They might be able to get this first tick here effortlessly. No contest. Concept here coming in with the Junkrat Tire, not able to make it quite in time.
That's how you do it. Q-Smith, they had him on the Widowmaker up on the bridge line right above the choke point, and he was able to cinch the team because all of Oregon was focused on them being down in that quarter. 100% of their attention was right there. No one knew that the Widowmaker was up there, and I think he got 2 or 3 picks. I know for certain that he picked off a support and Soldier 76.
Yeah, and I want to give extreme props there for Oregon. They really did have a really good defense there. Unfortunately, Colorado was able to just get into that room there and out Junkrat the Junkrat.
I think that just came down to a lack of communication. They probably should have known that Q-Smith was going to be running Widowmaker. Q-Smith was running Widowmaker in the last 2 setups. They should have known that he would have been up there. They should have taken a hit scan character or a Widowmaker of their own, someone that could have dealt with it, or even a Reinhardt to put his shield up and allow Orisa to put his shield right there and kind of lock down that high ground area. They didn't. They just had the one shield, and then that let Q-Smith deal the damage that he needed to do, and then the tanks from Colorado were able to push up onto that point and obliterate Oregon's defense.
Yeah, and Oregon is really trying their best, and I give all props to Oregon giving it their all here against Colorado. Unfortunately, Colorado is having a little bit of the upper hand as far as the average as far as the average SR goes. But Oregon is definitely showing their colors, and they are doing a very, very good job at holding off Colorado.
I agree with you so much. They're doing a great job of having the compositions that they need to a degree. They just need to utilize them more effectively. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next matchup right here. It looks like it's going to be Ilios, I think. What do you think about that map?
Ilios is definitely an interesting map here. We're going to probably be starting off with Well, it looks like. And we're definitely going to see probably a lot of Roadhog here. Looks like we're actually going to have to hold off on the map just for a second. It looks like we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties with the teams. But it's really going to be exciting to see everyone gets to get dropped in the well. I mean, that's my favorite part of the map.
It's always one of those terrible moments when you're playing Tracer and you're like, yeah, you're doing a good job. The cavalry's here. And then Orisa shoots out that pulse grenade and you just get yoinked right into it and you don't have your recall. And then you just
feel the life leave your body as you fall down the pit. It's just
Yeah.
heart-wrenching to have happen to you.
Definitely something that nobody likes to have happen to them, and that well has taken so many lives, so many Darth Mauls.
So many Darth Maul deaths. That being said, I think we may look to one or two of the teams not running triple tank because the well is just such an important part of this map. It's so easy to get pulled into it. I'm looking for double tank on both teams, Orza and Roadhog. Those are the only two tanks I think are going to be on here. If you have a Reinhardt, he's just going to get pulled into the well time after time. He's not going to be efficient.
Yep, I definitely agree with you there. You know, I really like seeing that Roadhog and Orisa. You know, those pulls and those hooks are definitely the most important thing, and it looks like we are actually going to move on to the map here. Here we have the both teams on Ilios, and here we see, it looks like, just a quick overview of the map. Here we see Ilios Ruins, definitely a very interesting
My
map
favorite
there.
version on the Ilios, and then this is the well that we're going to be playing on through this time. That's the well right there, the infamous pit of despair that we're talking about.
Yeah, there is no saving you when you get dropped in that well, and here we see the third map here of Ilios Lighthouse. Definitely going to be a really interesting map. Here we see 17 seconds to go on both of these teams, and here we see triple tank. Here it looks like from, I'm sorry, excuse me on that one. Here we see Colorado here running the triple tank, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Double tank, but them taking Winston on Colorado, an interesting pick instead of the Orza. Like we said, Oregon taking the Roadhog and the Orisa. I think I'm going to give them the favor this matchup.
Yeah, and you know, it's definitely going to be really interesting to see both teams running a Lucio, definitely running a lot of boops here. Q-Smith running onto that Pharah. You definitely see a lot of good performance here from last game. Hopefully we can see the same performance this game.
I think Pharah is his comfort pick. Look to that pulse bomb to knock people into the well. He's doing some great damage onto that Orisa shield. Orisa, ooh, too close for comfort right there. Looks like Oregon's going to be the team, Colorado rather, is going to be the team to take the point right here off the bat.
You see Cheng getting in the backline, taking Draggeist is really low. Looks like he might be able to finish him off here. Fortunately, that pillar is going to get in the way. Cheng is going to have to back off.
Mercy diving out of there really close. Look like Oregon's running Reaper. Ooh, Atomic Spoon with a great hook on concept, and Robocrab boops him back in for the oh god,
Ooh.
Absolute mayhem here on Well. This is exactly what we're talking about.
The well taking so many lives.
Lucio's with more damage than the DPSs are. Looks like Chang's getting in a bit of trouble right there, and Colorado, specifically Q-Smith on his Pharah and Sarfish on the Lucio, are going to be taking the first point for Colorado.
Yeah, you know, Colorado using that well to their advantage. Definitely going to be really interesting to see. Q-Smith on this Pharah is absolutely destroying everything right now. He's just raining terror. Nobody's taking care of him.
Oregon choosing to take a McCree over a better boot pick like Pharah or something like that. Looks like Q-Smith's going to be diving to the back here with his ultimate on hold. McCree giving him a little bit of trouble. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for Q-Smith. And he pops that ultimate, dealing fantastic amounts of damage.
Cheng here in the back line. Ooh.
Chang in the backline with some good damage on system.
And here we see Tate the Great using his Moira Coalescence here, able to deal a lot of damage here. Oregon really trying to push in so hard on here. Cheng is just really sitting in the backline, not able to do much, unfortunately. Staying alive, though, however, getting chased by Minecraft Kid. I don't know where Cheng's going to go on this one.
Minecraft Kid is doing such a great job on D.Va. He held his ultimate when he should have. He didn't flinch. He wasn't nervous and used it when he didn't need to. They're going to retain 4 ultimates on Colorado, moving into 56% here on Ilios Well.
Yeah, Oregon here. We see the regroup coming in from Oregon. Going to go back into that choke. Here we see McCree trying to take out Q-Smith. You know, Dave M really having a hard time with that pocketed Pharah. Really is just really hard to take her out as McCree. You don't have enough consistent damage unless you're hitting your shots.
I wouldn't have taken him as the hit scan. I definitely think Widowmaker would have been a better pick leading into a Pharah. Chang deciding to switch off of Tracer for Pharah himself, but he doesn't have the Mercy to back him up. That gives Q-Smith a huge advantage.
Yeah, Cheng, you know, here we saw him take a lot of damage, had to immediately back off. He does not have the Mercy to keep him up. Q-Smith raining terror on everybody. Minecraft Kid taking out Lucio. Q-Smith taking out McCree, and System taking out Moira.
A clean sweep almost from Colorado. Only Concept and Urk are alive. Concept going down rapidly, however. 95% looks like it's going to be another clean hold from Colorado. Great work on Colorado State's team.
Yeah, and here we see Oregon is going to just have to be trickling in for this overtime, trying to do their best to maybe, hopefully, get some sort of hold on the point, but unfortunately, overtime is going to go to Colorado, and they are going to take this first point.
University of Colorado. Excuse me for saying Colorado State. I definitely know the difference between the two of you.
great work from Colorado, 100% to 0. I definitely thought that Oregon would have been able to take it at least for a couple percentage, maybe 40, 45%. That's about how long it takes for a team to be able to retake a point. But nope, Colorado took it and they held it. What do you think about it?
You know, Colorado definitely showing their colors there. Q Smith on that Farah again. Q Smith is just reigning terror. You know, here we saw him get so many picks on that Farah, not really getting taken out because he was just getting pocketed by the Mercy. And you know, Dave. Well, here we saw that McCree, I think it was Dave M. He was just not able to do enough damage. He wasn't able to hit enough shots consistently. He was hitting his shots, but that Farah was just too far away. That fall off damage is too much.
I completely agree with the changes that they did to McCree to make his damage fall off with more range. He used to be a reliable counter pick to Farah, not so much anymore. I think Oregon should have known that they were going to run Farah, especially on Ilios well. It's a really popular Farah location specifically, like we said, with the well being such a key point about this map. They should have run Soldier 76. It's so easy for him to get his ult charges on the Roadhogs and the Oruses that you know you're going to see on that map. And then all he has to do, pop his tac visor, hold the left click, and Farah's dead. It's that easy.
It's just that easy. And here we're going to go into the second map here on Ilios. Here we see Ilios Ruins.
My favorite instance of the Ilios map. Pretty standard team comps. Looks like we're going to have Chang on Widowmaker and Q Smith on his Widowmaker as well. No pick so far from either of them, although they are warring for it.
Yeah, and here we see the shield game coming out. Here we see, you know, Colorado really diving in really hard on Oregon there. It's definitely going to be really interesting. Chang sitting in the back end, able to take out that D.Va.
Ooh. Chang with some great picks right there. Concept taking D.Va out of his mech and Chang finishing it up. Atomic Spoon, however, landing some damage in Dry Grass, rezzing D.Va. No damage technically has been done by Oregon so far.
Yeah, Oregon was not able to push in on the point and hold the point as much as Colorado was. Colorado took the initiative. They got on the point, they pushed in, and they held it.
Here we have Q Smith just barely getting his ultimate and popping it immediately to try and stall Oregon's entrance onto this. I don't think they're going to be able to do too much damage moving in here, not with Q Smith and his ultimate up. They know for a fact that they're not going to have any safe pathways. There's no anonymity of them moving in onto this first point.
Yeah, and you know, Q Smith holding that high ground has a really good position. This is not a good place for Roadhog to be. Junkrat's just going to be able to spam bombs. Junkrat's just spamming his bombs, and they're not letting anybody through.
He's not even moving. He's just holding his left trigger and doing ridiculous amounts of damage on the back line. Looks like Q Smith took out Cheng with a clean headshot, and then Tate the Great immediately reses him. Davem falling back on his comfort pick, McCree, by the looks of things.
Yeah, you know, Oregon, they definitely need to probably make a little bit of a switch up here. I would like to see...
Atomic Spoon. That was an atomic Junkrat ulti, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, you know, Atomic Spoon's Junkrat has been phenomenal here from Colorado. He's gotten great rip tires. He's gotten great bomb kills. You know, he's just doing a really good job. Concept pushing up a little bit too far without his team.
System, however, doing a good job of putting damage onto Oregon's counter push. Chang popping his aim for sight to see if they can get any good looks on Colorado's solid hold of the point so far.
Yeah, you know, here we see Davem switching off to that Genji. Just as I was mentioning, I would have liked him to switch to a different hero here because that McCree was just not able to do enough damage. Here we see Atomic Spoon dealing so much damage to the tanks here of Oregon. He is just absolutely raining terror on them in that corridor. That is not where Oregon wants to be pushing right now.
Urk forced to retreat rather than being able to push onto the point. Dav M getting really, really low and not really able to put a lot of damage onto the team that he needs, onto the team of Colorado that he needs to be doing. 95% moving in so far.
Yeah, and here we see Colorado really just doing a really clean hold here, not letting Oregon anywhere near the point. Looks like they are going to be able to get overtime here. They're going to be able to touch the point. Orisa here from Concept, able to sit on the point for as long as he can. Actually, Concept's on Roadhog. Orc and Orisa, they're able to hold that point as much as possible. Atomic Spoon coming in with the Rip Tire, unable to actually pop anything off. Chang actually keep picking off the Mercy. It looks like Oregon is actually going to be able to clean up and take the point. It is not going to be a 100-0 here. Oregon doing a very good job in overtime, holding that point, getting really key picks. Chang taking out that Mercy, and that's when it all went down. Q Smith going down from Dave.
Good job from Oregon. Ridiculously good job from Oregon moving in here. Atomic Spoon taking out immediately. Davem reflects the Junkrat bomb? I didn't even know that was possible.
He reflected that trigger. That's all you got to do. Here it looks like Oregon is really doing a good job. That Genji switch is what they needed. Here, System getting a clean and getting hit shot from Cheng. Cheng is really having a really good job now that he's able to get in a good position.
Popping the Infrasight. That being said, Atomic Spoon is trying to get revenge onto Genji, moving back here onto the point, putting good damage into the Orza's shield. Q-Smith getting taken out by Cheng, and Atomic Spoon getting taking out RoboCrab.
Yeah, and you know, Cheng doing a really good job on this Widowmaker, able to hold off a lot of the point. He just really needed to get into a better position. RoboCrab getting rezzed from Oregon. It looks like Oregon is going to have all 6. Here we see Davem coming in with the Dragon Blade. Looks like he might be able to get some picks here. He's looking for that Genji. Sorry, that Lucio. He's looking for that Mercy. He's able to get both picks.
Both supports down from Davem, and he gets out alive with health to spare. That's going to completely stunt Colorado's push. We're moving into 60%. Oregon might cinch it.
Yeah, you know, Oregon doing a really good job at this defense. Atomic Spoon here still on that Junkrat. It looks like he has his Rip Tire ready. You know, Colorado doesn't have very many ults here, but neither does Oregon. It looks like it's going to be a clean push. They're probably just going to try to charge ult as much as possible. Cheng is going to try to see if he can get any picks.
75%. Atomic Spoon holds that ultimate, continually throwing tires on to Oregon's front line. He's popping it right now. Rip Tire going around the back, not really seen by anyone as far as I can see. However, Lucio does pop his ultimate, going way up high, diving in onto the point.
He's looking for that backline. He's able to get Urk. There's one tank down there for Oregon. It looks like Cheng also was taken out by Minecraft Kid. Urk is able to get rezzed from Tate the Great. Concept using his Roadhog ultimate. It looks like this is going to be a really intense push. Here we're going to move into overtime, 99-99.
RoboCrab doing a good 1v1 with Colorado. Davem on the point on his Genji. He is completely unstoppable, putting ridiculous amounts of damage onto Atomic Spoon's Junkrat. I don't think he's going to be able to survive that.
Yeah, it looks like Davem is probably going to be able to get an ult here. He's 98%. He just needs to hit one more shuriken. It looks like he has his Dragon Blade ready. He's most likely going to use it. Oregon doing a really good job of holding this point. They are doing a very great job in this overtime. Colorado
Genji
doing
popping the Dragon Blade right there, taking out Soldier 76, and immediately putting some damage onto that Winston. He's still on the point, 99-99. It's so close, guys.
Colorado is holding this point so much. Winston still on the point, doing his best. He looks like he jumped just a little bit too high, was not able to touch the point in time, and Oregon is going to take that point. Fantastic performance from Oregon, pulling it up, letting them know that they are nothing to be messed with, and that is something that we needed to see a long time ago.
We told you, do not count out Oregon quite yet. They have the comps that they need. They just need to run it a little bit more fluidly. The second that they switched on to Genji instead of McCree, they started to retake the point, and then they immediately held it. Genji is what they needed the entire time. Genji has the opportunity to use his sweeping strike into the backline and not let Widowmaker do her job, and then that allowed the Widowmaker for Oregon to clean up supports.
Yeah, and you know, Cheng was doing a really good job after he was able to get in position, taking out Q-Smith as Widowmaker. You know, he was able to take out those supports. He was able to get a better line of sight that he just wasn't able to do when they were still trying to push onto the point after Colorado had taken it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we have Q-Smith established as a pretty solid Widowmaker player and a solid Pharah player. Those are his two picks. To see Cheng come out on Widowmaker and actually be able to trade with Q-Smith, that was something to see. I wasn't expecting Cheng to be able to do much against Q-Smith, but I think he actually took him out 2 or 3 times on that point.
Yeah, and you know, here we're going to go ahead and be able to move on to our next and final map here on Helios. It looks like it's going to be Lighthouse.
Lighthouse, an interesting setup with the Lighthouse itself, really uptight. Davem choosing to stay on Genji and immediately taking out Atomic Spoon. Great work for them. However, he's a little bit overextended and needs to back out.
Yeah, he's going to back out. He's looking for the heals. It looks like Colorado is going to be down when they're not able to get any res on Atomic Spoon. It looks like Atomic Spoon has resurrected Urk, taking out Starfish. Cheng taking out that
Nice.
Q-Smith.
They learned that Q-Smith is going to be running Pharah, and they took Widowmaker against it, and that's exactly what I said would happen. Amazing work from Chain. It looks like Oregon is going to be 5-manning on this point. I don't think Colorado is going to be able to stop them.
Colorado losing that first point. It looks like they're going to have to play that attack to get that point back. Oregon doing a really good job on that first push. Davem on that Genji has definitely been doing work. That is the switch that they needed.
I completely agree with you, Xander. Concept as well. He's on fire. He's been landing hook after hook. Genji, don't overextend. He's a little bit too far in the back and getting knocked out by Junkrat. Atomic Spoon doing a great job of stalling. Looks like Colorado is going to be choosing to move along the right side to invade this point.
You know, I definitely agree with you, Seth. That Junkrat's going to have to move along the right side. Atomic Spoon definitely going to try to put as much damage as possible to getting them all grouped up. That pancake is going to hit almost everybody. Atomic Spoon, unfortunately, getting taken out by Concept.
That was a good look that he had. However, it wasn't enough. That being said, Q-Smith diving into the backline, taking on 2 supports as Tracer. Fantastic work. Concept getting isolated and poked down by Tracer.
Tracer building that ult charge really well, doing a lot of damage to that Roadhog. And that Lucio pushing him off point. It looks like he's just going to be able to zone that Lucio off point. Lucio's not going to be able to get on point. Colorado, take it again.
He's trying his best. However, it does look like RoboCrab's going to... I spoke too soon. Atomic Spoon doing a great job of tying up RoboCrab, not letting him get away. Interesting to see that the second his Pharah got shot down by Chang, he immediately switched off to Tracer. Great synergy there from Colorado's team of identifying their problem and fixing it.
Yeah, here we see Chang running the Soldier now instead of the Widowmaker now that Pharah is gone. You know, Soldier is going to be able to provide a lot more consistent DPS and break that shield a lot faster.
Where is the Reaper, though? Ooh, Atomic Spoon with a great Junkrat tire taking out Chang in the backline. Awesome work. Looks like Urk, however, is going to be countering onto Minecraft Kid.
Here we see Davem coming in with the Dragon Blade, able to get the Lucio pick and the Orisa Supercharger. Looking for more, not able to really find anything, though.
Oregon retains the... excuse me, Colorado actually retook the point. Oregon is just going to... Looks like they're going to be taking it back right now. Davem putting good damage onto that Orisa. Needing to dash out, though. Coming right back in onto the point.
Yeah, you know, Davem, he's doing a very good job of staying on the point. Colorado doing a really good job at holding right now. System, unfortunately, is able to get taken out. Atomic Spoon here coming in with another tire, looking for those supports. Looks like that break it down was able to save a lot of the... actually, that wasn't Colorado's break it down, and it looks like Colorado's going to be able to hold the point.
That was a little bit of an interesting thing right there from Colorado's Atomic Spoon. He used his ultimate Junkrat tire, and he detonated it just a little bit too close in front of the Orisa shield. So all the damage went into the Orisa shield instead of actually doing damage to Oregon's characters.
Yeah, you know, Colorado, here we see just Minecraft Kid with the ultimate. Q-Smith just getting his ultimate now. Urk, you know, still with that supercharger, but it looks like Oregon is down as far as the ultimate game goes. It looks like they are going to be not going to be able to push very well here. Chang, we see it now on Pharah.
Winston doing great damage on Chang right there on Pharah, like you said. Looks like Urk's going to be dropping that pulse charger right there. Oregon trying to put massive amounts of damage into the front line of Colorado. Is it going to be enough? 98%.
And here we see that Supercharger getting taken out very quickly by Minecraft Kid. It looks like that Mercy getting so low, not able to get taken out, though. Drygas is finally able to get taken out. Here we see Minecraft Kid with his Winston ult on the point, able to do so much damage in that closed area.
Minecraft popping that Primal Rage, knocking all of Oregon off of the point and doing ridiculous amounts of damage onto the backline. That being said, Atomic Spoon able to come in here and also do amazing amounts of damage with that Junkrat tire.
Yeah, this overtime hold from Colorado is absolutely brilliant. Oregon State using everything that they have, doing everything that they can right now to be able to take this point here in overtime. And Colorado still holding the point, doing the best they can. System, Minecraft Kid, both of the tanks holding as much as possible, doing a great job at taking out Oregon, and Oregon is not able to do anything. That is a team kill, and Colorado will take that game.
A team kill from Colorado. Oregon right there, I think they switched off of the Genji in favor of the Reaper, and I think that could have been their fatal pick. I actually would have favored Reaper a little bit earlier on, but at that point in the game, you need to have Reaper with his ultimate to take the point. If you're sending in a Reaper with no charge, what can he realistically do other than put damage into Orisa's shield? He doesn't have time to charge up that ultimate in like the 35 seconds that they had remaining. So I agree with the Reaper choice, just a little bit too late into the game, I think.
Yeah, definitely really just a little bit too late. You know, he wasn't able to focus enough damage onto Minecraft Kid as Winston. You know, definitely that should have been his target, but he just wasn't able to get there.
Minecraft Kid was doing a phenomenal job, like you were just saying, Xander. Zader, he was able to jump and he took out the Pharah. Pharah is such a key point on Ilios Lighthouse. She can jump in through the top of the point and put damage directly onto the backline. So with the Pharah missing because of Minecraft Kid's Winston, I think that really stunted the push from Oregon to retake the point.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Seth. I absolutely phenomenal performance from Minecraft Kid. And here we're going to go ahead and move on to our next map, and that will be Kings Row.
What do you think about this map, Zader?
Kings Row is definitely another one of those maps that has a lot of choke points. You know, you have your first initial choke point coming, onto the capture point to start the payload. And as soon as you start the payload, you come into the next choke point there, just right under that bridge. And it's definitely going to be really interesting to see how Oregon handles these choke points. They definitely have not been able to hold these choke points as well.
I agree with you. Kings Row Station is probably my second favorite map in all of Overwatch, next to maybe Watchpoint Gibraltar. It's such a great map for Tracer. Let's see if either team both teams favor not to run it. That being said, Oregon, it looks like they're going to be doing a great job of breaking that chokehold immediately. Starfish on the Zenyatta trying to put out damage.
Yeah, you know, Starfish and Zenyatta has been actually phenomenal here recently and in these previous matches. Atomic Spoon on the Junkrat still, again, taking out Tate the Great.
I completely agree with you. Amazing, fantastic job from Zenyatta right there. That being said, Atomic Spoon is countering, doing some good damage on Junkrat on the tank line. Q-Smith on that favorite Widowmaker pick, trying to snipe off some of the supports for Oregon.
Yeah, you know, Q-Smith doing a really good job, actually getting slept there by the Ana from DavM.
Tate the Great getting out with about 3 HP, it looked like, on Lucio. Atomic Spoon with a fantastic Riptire takes out Zarya and the Lucio.
Yeah, you know, Colorado holding a really, really good defense. Q-Smith taking out Cheng as that Widowmaker. Cheng is not able to answer Q-Smith as much as he should be.
It looks like Colorado is doing a near flawless job of holding this point. It was looking a little bit sketchy as Oregon was pushing in there immediately, but they did a fantastic job of cleaning them up without hesitation.
You know, you see that Orisa halt, not really getting anybody there. Q-Smith was definitely looking for something from that halt, though.
Yeah.
He had his eyes on it. And, you know, Colorado doing a really good job holding this. That Orisa shield is staying up consistently.
Good team synergy from Colorado. An amazing comp. I like it so much. Atomic Spoon in this corridor right here, doing a not really contested, just dealing consistent damage onto Oregon's front line. That being said, they are diving around the right side with Tate the Great's Lucio movement speed boost.
Yeah, and here we see, you know, they're able to push here around. Unfortunately, Urk is going to get pulled there as Junkrat, and he's actually going to get taken down along with Tate the Great from Q-Smith and System.
Starfish is holding his Transcendence ultimate on Zenyatta. That's not going to allow Oregon any room to push this point. I don't think they're going to have any viable pushes in the next minute and a half.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Seth. They're not going to have as much viable pushes as they really need to. They're running out of time. They only have a minute and 45 here, it looks like, and it looks like Colorado has almost all of their ultimate, so Mercy's ultimate coming up here just now.
One of the things that can handle a Zenyatta ultimate is a Reinhardt ultimate. He can dive into the backline and do great work. Oh my gosh, I think Reinhardt just punched that Junkrat tire.
It looks like actually Cheng was able to get a shot on it, but it looks like, you know, Reinhardt definitely was trying to swing for it. And here we see that Zarya Graviton Surge coming out, and unfortunately Zenyatta is going to be able to counter that, and Colorado's going to get a team kill off of that.
How did that happen? Oregon popped the Zenyatta ulti, caught almost everybody, immediately countered by Starfish's Transcendence, like I was saying. There's not a lot that they can do against the Zarya, that the Zarya can do against that. And then Colorado, in a Graviton Surge, is able to get a team kill. I am so impressed with Colorado's defense on this first point on Kings Row.
Q-Smith is doing an absolutely brilliant job there as Widowmaker, doing everything that he can to just dominate this team. And he's just uncontested. Atomic Spoon, uncontested again in the hotel.
He's on a fantastic flanking angle right there, just being able to deal consistent damage onto Oregon. That being said, they are doing a good job of moving onto the point. Looks like they have a supercharged Reinhardt right there, forcing Colorado off the point. Starfish getting dangerously low, and he falls to Concept Zarya.
Here we see Atomic Spoon holding that point just really alone, unable to actually really do anything there, and Atomic Spoon getting taken out. Dry Grasses as well. Or it looks like Oregon is going to be able to take this first point and start the payload. Actually, it looks like Diva's going to come here, get on the point, maybe try to contest. It looks like actually she's going to stay off, and they're going to get that point, and the payload will start rolling.
Good choice from Minecraft Kid, not diving in there on Diva. He would have most likely died. Interesting outcome of that first round. Oregon actually able to take the point in spite of Colorado looking so strong. They're going to do a hopefully good job of moving this payload through the first corner.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, this is the second choke point. This is the second hallway that they need to get through. It looks like, you know, Oregon is going to get set up there just around the corner. They're going to do their best to hold this. It looks like that Junkrat is up top, you know, raining terror with those bombs. It looks like Ana is able to actually take him out. That was a brilliant snipe.
They recently buffed Ana's damage. She is far more capable of handling squishy characters like Junkrat. Tate the Great popping his ultimate, and they push in. Really flawless push from Oregon, taking out 3 members of Colorado's team, and they're not done yet.
And, you know, yeah, Oregon doing a really good job at holding this push, keeping Colorado back, keeping them trickled, making sure that they cannot hold any points. Concept really pushing forward, making sure that they are not going to come up and contest this, and it looks like they are going to get that second checkpoint. Hopefully uncontested. It looks like they're going to be able to push up. RoboCrab with that Earth Shatter. Let's see if he can get something out of it.
Looks like Diva, a Minecraft Kid, diving into the backline. Cheng taking out Atomic Spoon immediately with a headshot. Q-Smith countering with a headshot of his own. Ooh. Fantastic amounts of damage coming out from both teams. Looks like Q-Smith is going to be popping that Widowmaker. Cheng is having an absolute heyday on the front line.
And here's, you know, Zarfish popping that Transcendence as Zenyatta's system getting really into Oregon right now, really making sure that they need to hold this point. Robocrab taking out system. It looks like Robocrab still has that Earth Shatter. He's looking for something. He wants to get something out of it. It looks like, Robocrab still holding that Reinhardt ultimate. I don't know when he's going to come out. Drygrass is doing a really good job keeping his team healed, not really getting taken out, and it looks like that McCree Deadeye is going to find her.
Drygrass doing a fantastic job of utilizing his Valkyrie ultimate to its maximum potential. He did a ridiculously good job of healing up his team. It just wasn't enough. Oregon, and specifically Chang on McCree, was flawless in headshots that pushed through.
Yeah, Oregon is doing a very, very good job here with that Chang on McCree. Robocrab still has his ultimate. Zarya still has his ultimate. Junkrat still has his ultimate. Here we see the beat dropped from Lucio. Looks like Oregon is going to push in here. Reiner dealing a massive amount of damage in that Zarya Graviton Surge, able to shield that Diva Bomb. He's looking for that Mercy.
I don't think Colorado can hold it. That was a great Zarya ulti coupled with the Reinhardt. They don't have any one viable left up. Colorado is not able to stop this. 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Let's see if they're going to be able to hold it. Looks like Orza's diving in immediately.
Yeah, and you see Robocrab still holding that Reinhardt. He's actually going to finally pop it through that Orisa shield. I'm not sure how many people he was able to find there. It looks like he was able to hold them off as much as possible. The Drygrass is still alive, looking to get killed, and Robocrab is absolutely dominating here, swinging that hammer, getting everybody.
Looks like only 2 people have downed for Colorado. It's a pretty intense fight right here. Looks like Starfish and Minecraft Kid are doing their best to stave off Oregon's push. Concept a little bit overextended. They need that Reinhardt back on the front lines.
Yeah, Atomic Spoon looking for that Riptire. Unfortunately, Concept's able to get that Riptire. Looks like Oregon is actually going to have to back up on here. Ooh. Colorado with the brilliant defense. Dav dropping almost to 1 HP.
1 HP, and then a biotic grenade saved his life. That was a little too close for comfort, Dav. A bit of an overextension there. Zarya, 90% charge. She is going to be just as viable as any DPS, Sander.
Yeah, she's going to start lasering everybody, getting that massive amounts of ult charge here. 100% charge here from Concept. Concept doing a really good job staying high charges. Zarya, that is really important for that damage to come out. Robocrab holding up that shield, wanting his team to push in, and here we go. Here we see the next push here. Chang getting an immediate pick on Atomic Spoon. Q Smith using that tack visor.
Chang with a headshot on Atomic Spoon, like you said. Tate the Great as well, taking out Q Smith. It looks like Oregon's actually going to be able to do it.
Yeah, Oregon doing a really good job taking out almost the entire team of Colorado. Looks like just about 1 person, 2 people alive here. Starfish doing the best he can. Atomic Spoon getting on the point, doing the best he can as Junkrat, kind of being a little bit of a slippery fish there. Fortunately, that that payload is going to be able to push in, and they're going to get a full push on King's Row.
Nice one, nice one. Starfish, you are a slippery fish indeed, just barely escaping with a little bit of HP there. I saw Lucio actually boop Concept Zarya off the edge on King's Row there at the very end. It wasn't enough, but that is definitely an impressive feat to be able to do on that map.
Yeah, Oregon saying that they know how to play King's Row. Oregon definitely, doing a really, really good job on all of those pushes. That first point, they had a really difficult time. But what do you think about that, Seth?
It seems to me that they do well in wide open spaces. Speaking about Oregon, they were able to take Ilios Ruins. That map has lots of line of sight, not too many corridors to deal with, but they were able to do they were able to be very efficient on that map, and then this one as well. They had a little bit of problems moving into that first choke point, but once they got the payload moving and had those straight line of sight corridors that King's Row is known for, they just thrived in those hallways. Chang on McCree doing a fantastic job of flashbang headshots on the entire Colorado frontline and backline for that matter.
Yeah, he was doing a really good job at using that Deadeye to take out that Mercy as well, making sure that when she flew across, that Deadeye would just pick her off.
I completely agree. Mercy, even though she was recently nerfed, she is still such an impactful character, and Colorado was relying on her to be the main source of healing that they had. And then once Mercy got picked off, that completely shut down the defense that they were trying for. They just started streaming in. They just seemed a little bit flustered. Moving into the last point, they seemed a little bit more solid, but I don't think it was enough. Oregon had the momentum.
And here we're going to go. Here we're going to go switch sides on King's Row here. Now we're going to see Colorado on the attack and Oregon on the defense. Atomic Spoon running Hanzo.
Hanzo. It speaks for itself. Oregon on defense, however, Colorado doing a pretty good job of pushing in. Chang, however, immediately taking out Minecraft Kid. Atomic Spoon taking a rocket to the face.
Oof, Atomic Spoon definitely doing a good job of staying alive as Hanzo. At least Chang still on that McCree. It's definitely a really good pick. Ooh.
Atomic Spoon with a headshot on Chang. Was not expecting that one. Oh, you do not want a Hanzo in the backline. Mercy is isolated. Take the Great. You got to get out of there. She gets away. She gets away.
Ooh, Atomic Spoon definitely looking for a good shot there. Wasn't able to find it. Q Smith staying in the back lane here as Soldier. Q Smith Soldier is definitely brilliant. Robocop getting a good charge there, and unfortunately not able to really escape from anything.
Past the first tick right here, Q Smith up to 66% ult charge. Atomic Spoon, he's popping off.
Yeah, you know, Atomic Spoon doing a really good job as Hanzo.
Hanzo.
I have no complaints.
I mean, if it works, it works. I'm not going to shame anything, but I mean, Hanzo, definitely interesting. I would not have expected that from Colorado. Atomic Spoon, however, seems to be doing a pretty good job of doing work on Hanzo. He does have that Dragon ultimate.
Yeah, you know, I definitely agree with you with that one, Seth. I am absolutely surprised at this Hanzo right now. Colorado has 5 minutes.
Thinking about it, it kind of makes sense on Kings Row. It's got these, as you can see, this corridor right here. Imagine a dragon running down that hallway. That's almost a guaranteed payload push. It kind of makes sense a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and here we see Robocop holding his shield up, trying to protect as much damage from systems. Orisa just, you know, really just blowing down that shield. Davin him in the back, trying to keep his whole team healed.
There's that dragon that we were talking about before and totally allowing Colorado rather, to push the point further up. Davin holds onto that nano boost, and Oregon is completely capable of outrunning that Hanzo ulti.
Yeah, Minecraft Kid diving directly in to the back, getting antied, not able to get any heals there. Robocrab getting really low. Minecraft Kid is able to pop his ultimate Q-Smith, taking out,
Ana trying her best right there to save her Reinhardt and her tank. Q-Smith, however, is able to isolate her with that tac visor and shredded her down. Colorado looking so strong. They've already secured the second point.
Yeah, you know, and here we saw Atomic Spoon and Q-Smith. Great job. I mean, you got Q-Smith getting 2 kills with the tac visor, and Atomic Spoon cleaning up the rest, getting those arrows in those faces.
Looks like he's trying to put some good arrows into the back line of Oregon with that scatter arrow right there. Not able to do too much. The RNG not in his favor. However, Orza is on top of the payload, and they're doing a great job of pushing it. He's at 95% ult charge on that Hanzo.
We see that supercharger coming. They're definitely gonna try to get this one pushed all the way through. Tommy Spoon getting a really good headshot there on Cheng, and
Urk with his Junkrat tire. Oh my god, Zarya landing a fantastic ultimate right there. Minecraft Kid getting immediately sucked in. Concept, however, taking out Drygrass's Mercy. That's the majority of their healing aside from Starfish. However, he is able to retain his Convergence ultimate, and he does get out alive. Fantastic teamwork there from Urk and Zarya on Concept.
Oregon doing a very good job defending there on that point. You know, we saw that Orisa supercharger come out, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. I thought that was going to be the last and final push, and here we see they're going to come up group up again and do another push, keeping the same team comp.
Davim doing a fantastic job on that Ana. Robocrab, however, falls immediately to Q-Smith and a clean Helix rocket. Concept only at 13% ult charge. They may want to hold off for the remainder of that. Colorado doing a great job on defending this.
And here we see Atomic Spoon taking out that Mercy there of Oregon. Oregon is going to have a really hard time defending without those heals. Concept taking a lot of damage here, and Concept eventually getting taken out by Minecraft. Atomic Spoon taking out Tracer.
Davim on 3%, getting dove on by Minecraft Kid, and there we see Reinhardt falling to his death off the edge. Colorado with a pretty solid push. It was a little difficult to see exactly what was going on right there. It was pretty hectic, but props to Colorado. They actually were able to push it through. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, you know, Colorado did a really good job with that push. They definitely have a lot more time here in this overtime, or the second round of pushes here to get that tiebreaker figured out. We're going to have to see exactly what goes on, and here we're going to see Colorado most likely Colorado's going to have a lot more time than Oregon. Oregon State, University of Oregon. Wow. We both say that. Is only going to have about 1 minute and 5 seconds there to get that first and final push.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to run Hanzo again. I don't think they will, but they might. I think they're going to favor the Junkrat on this point here on Kings Row. I think we are ready to head right on into the final installment of our Kings Row. It is tied 1-1, Colorado with the most recent push.
And here we see, you're going to see Colorado getting the Oregon getting the first initial push here with that 1 minute to go. Looks like they're going to have 50 seconds. They're going to have about 2 pushes here. If the first one fails, they're going to have to regroup quickly.
RoboCrab diving around the right side on a tank, actually, not his Lucio that we had mentioned before. Looks like he's going to be taking a majority of the damage. Looks like Oregon's actually capable of taking this right side. They have a clean look on the point right now, Zader.
Atomic Spoon still sitting in that hotel as Junkrat spamming those bombs there on that team. Uncontested, really not having anything to worry about. I mean, and there we go. Reinhardt finally notices him.
Q-Smith did a good job of taking out Urk with a headshot right there. Concept getting his ult charge up as quickly as he can. Not quickly enough, though. A clean hook from Roadhog right there.
Unfortunately, it was on Concept as Zarya. Zarya was able to bubble that. Minecraft Kid still taking out that Zarya as well. Davm sitting on the top as McCree, trying to rain down as much damage as possible there as from Oregon.
That's a great angle from him up there. A little bit of an overextension, though. However, he is getting healing. He's not dying too late. Tate the Great moving onto the point. It's contested. It's overtime already. Let's see if Oregon's able to hold it.
Colorado, Tommy Spoon getting taken out. You know, this is going to be a really long walk for him. He's actually able to get res Minecraft to taking out Urk on the Junkrat.
Looks like Colorado's able to take out 3 members of Oregon. One of them gets rezzed immediately. RoboCrab trying to do his best to take out that Orza. She is the main component of this defense and hooked back onto the point by Roadhog.
Yeah, RoboCrab doing a really good job holding this shield up. This overtime is really intense. Devm coming in with the Deadeye. Let's see if he's able to get anything. Unfortunately, Oregon is not going to be able to stay on the point.
He had the Deadeye ultimate. He wasn't able to use it, though. McCree, an interesting pick right there. Had you gone with Tracer, you could have been able to dive in on top of that point, dance around, and just maintain that for as long as you possibly can. On McCree, you got no mobility. It was so easy for them to just shove him away. Even though McCree was able to get on the backline, he wasn't able to kill anybody. He did good damage, and he kind of threw a wrench in their monitors, but it wasn't enough. Colorado with a good hold.
Yeah, Colorado doing a really, really brilliant hold there. Minecraft Kid as that Roadhog, just getting clean hooks, clean picks, you know, picking off that Zarya, picking off whatever he can. And, you know, that's just really great performance there from Minecraft Kid. We're going to go ahead and move on to, it looks like Colorado's here push on attack, and it looks like we're going to have to see what they can do here in just a second.
Looks like here we have a Reaper.
Sorry about that. Looks like a little bit troubles with the scene change. There we go. That's what we want to see.
A Reaper pick coming out here for Oregon. I definitely think it's interesting. Bastion, how did that work out for you last time? Atomic Spoon on Hanzo once more, favoring that over Junkrat.
Looks like they have 2 snipers, both Atomic Spoon and Q-Smith.
That's interesting. I actually think Bastion's going to be pretty viable moving into this. If he gets in that hotel right there, they're not going to be able to deal damage with their snipers. Look at that. They're doing a great job of not allowing Q-Smith, and it looks like he's just going to switch off to Farah.
Check that out.
Great job.
The moment he sees the Bastion, he decides, nah, Widowmaker's not worth it.
You're done. Atomic Spoon getting great shots off onto that Orza shield. I see it falling pretty quickly. That being said,
ooh,
this is what I'm talking about.
Hanzo taking out the Bastion with the scatter arrow. Q-Smith raining terror from above. The Bastion actually is able to get res. It looks like he's going to have to set up in that back corner.
Oh.
You know, it looks like Q-Smith, still doing so much damage, taking out the Orisa. Atomic Spoon taking out Bastion again. Atomic Spoon taking out Reaper.
Q-Smith, fantastic job of dealing damage, taking out the entire backline of Oregon and the entire front line. They're almost to the first hit. Q-Smith getting down onto the point. It's only Concept left alive to defend it, and that's it. First point goes to Colorado and the game.
That is it. Looks like Colorado is going to get a clean sweep 4-0 here against Oregon. That was an absolutely fantastic match that we saw here today. I have no complaints. I have nothing to say. You know, Colorado doing a really, really good job, and Oregon honestly putting in everything that they could, and I have so much respect for Oregon doing so well there, especially on Ilios, where we saw them really pulling everything out as much as they could in Kings Row, getting that push so well. You know, I so much props there to Oregon.
I completely agree with you, Zader. Oregon, they did a fantastic push on Kings Row. They were able actually to take that first chokehold away from Colorado, and they were able to push it they pushed it the entire way, and actually making the game go into overtime against the heavily favored Colorado. I would even consider that a little bit of an upset. Oregon playing really, really well in spite of them being down in player skill a little bit.
I definitely agree with you there. Oregon is just fantastic, you know, and as far as a first match goes, as far as the PACG tournament it's amazing. It has no complaints, full of action, full of everything that we have ever wanted to see. and hopefully that we can continue to see this action here in this show match that we have coming up as well.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be right back after a short break with Stanford versus UCLA. It's going to be the show match that we have queued up for you guys today. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you so much.
to the PACG Overwatch broadcast here at the Einar Nielsen Fieldhouse at the University of Utah campus. We just got done seeing some amazing games between the University of Colorado and the University of Oregon. What are your final thoughts on that, Zader?
Yeah, I had a really good time, especially casting the matches, watching those matches. I like I said before, Oregon doing a really, really good job holding against Colorado.
I completely agree with you. Colorado was definitely favored heading into the matchup. In spite of that, Oregon was able to do phenomenal things on Ilios and Kings Row specifically. They were able to take a map off of them on Ilios, and they were able to do a full cap on Kings Row Station. And then they kind of faltered a little bit in the overtime scenario. They only had 53 seconds in comparison to the 3 or 4 minutes that Colorado had, and that ended up ultimately being their downfall on that map.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Ninja, that Kings Row map was definitely something to see, and those overtime pushes were something that that was really, really fun to see.
Kings Row, I love it, but I can admit it's a pain. It's just once your team starts falling apart, and you just Kings Row, it hurts so much. Those choke points are almost impossible to get through unless you have flawless team coordination. Oregon showing us that they have more than enough potential to be able to do that, especially against a team as good as Colorado. They took a clean 4-0, however, but I definitely would not count out Oregon. Once they get in a little bit more practice, they're going to be just as viable as any of the other teams. Looks like the matchup that we have scheduled next for you guys is going to be Stanford and UCLA.
Yeah, and Stanford versus UCLA, there's definitely a little bit of a rivalry there.
Yeah, both California teams. We don't have very much information on the players or where the standings are in regards to that, but let's go take a look at what roles are going to be played for each team, what their comps are usually.
Yeah, and here we see Raxa and Pip there for UCLA running on running as assault players.
And Stanford, however, rather taking just Shimex, I think that's pronounced, as their damage for the main. Looks like they run double tank, double heal, and then a damage dealer and a flex. Interesting from Stanford.
Yeah, and it looks like as far as average SRs go, it looks like UCLA has a little bit higher of an average SR compared to Stanford. Stanford's a little bit lower, but it looks like it looks like as far as the rivalry goes, it could just be a school rivalry. Instead of a player rivalry.
I completely agree with you. It looks like Stanford University coming in with an average of 2,660. That's like high platinum about?
It's mid-plat.
Mid-platinum? Mid-platinum. A little bit, yeah, closer to 2,500. And then University of California, UCLA, 3,600. Jesus Christ. These guys are no joke. They've got a Grandmaster player, 4 top Master players. It looks like it's going to be Pip in Masters League, Sireku in Masters League, Tsang in Masters League, and Juggernaut in Masters League as well, with Raxa as the highest ranked player in this matchup in Grandmaster.
Yeah, and then, having a GM player is definitely something to be feared of, especially when he plays DPS. You see him a lot on McCree and a lot on Widowmaker, which is something scary. That aim is good.
Yeah, and it's an interesting concept that if you have a Grandmaster support or a Grandmaster tank, yeah, it's impactful. Like, they're good, they know what they're doing. But if you have a Grandmaster DPS, oh my God, like, you had better check yourself moving anywhere, especially if he plays Widowmaker. You can't step out into the light of day without his crosshairs being right on your head. I can almost guarantee that's what's going to be going down.
Yeah, so Raxa definitely a player to be looking for here as we move on to this match here in just a minute. And here we see we're going to go look at Stanford. Actually, just at the maps here real quick. We're going to start off here with Kings Row again. We're going to see another Kings Row map. We're going to see how this one plays out in this show match. It's going to be definitely really interesting. Again, it's another one of those hybrid maps. Capture point at the first, payload, moving on.
Yeah, I definitely favor the hybrid maps in comparison to the just payload or the just capture points. However, Kings Row, as we saw from previously, it's pretty tough to break that first chokehold. In spite of that, University of California, UCLA rather, they have most of their good players, their highest tier players, on DPS. DPS is not as important when it comes to chokeholds. It's about the tanks and it's about the supports. DPSs are very important, but I think it's going to be on the backs of the tanks on the defense and the offense to make sure that these pushes and defenses are going according to plan, Zader.
All right, you know, I definitely agree with you there, Ninja. It's going to be something to see as far as these tanks go. Like you said, those tanks really have to show their colors. They really need to do everything that they can to kind of hold those chokes and do everything that they can to make sure that their shields don't die and that their DPS in the back line can have a good amount of damage there on those shields.
And here we go, moving in here right away. First point on Kings Row, UCLA and Stanford University. Looks like we're going to have a quick map overview. Fantastic statue of, what was his name? Starts with an M?
Oh, clueless on that one.
It was like Zenyatta's master or something. I don't want to say his dad. Olmecs don't really have dads.
All I know is that Widowmaker shot him in the face.
Yeah, Widowmaker shot him in the face. Tracer tried. That all happened here on Kings Row. I'll think of his name later on, and I'll just be like in the middle match. I'll just shout it. So maybe cover your ears a little bit.
And here we go. We're going to go ahead, start assembling all the heroes here for this first round of Kings Row. It's definitely going to be something really interesting to see. Here we see UCLA starting on the defense.
UCLA taking DPS as Soldier 76 and Roadhog. I love those picks. And favoring Roadhog and Reinhardt over an Orisa anywhere in their composition. Stanford on the opposition running Zenyatta on offense and Moira. I love that pick so much.
Yeah, and you know it's definitely something to see that Moira. We didn't see too much Moira there on our first match that we had today. You know, we only saw it there just a little bit on the first point. On the first map. However, now we're going to see it a lot more as a little bit higher level of play here comes out from Stanford and UCLA. It looks like we're going to have 10 seconds until we start seeing some action.
And I called that was going to happen. Here we see Raxa on Widowmaker on offense for UCLA. Look out for him to do fantastic job on those headshots, getting right into the point, and they know it. They're shooting right up there, waiting for that Widowmaker to pop her head out.
Yeah, they know that something's up there. Atlas here sitting in the corner. He's probably going to look for a really good hook here. See that fire strike coming out. Not really hitting anybody.
Looks like he's going to be holding onto his hook, and he's found out by UCLA. Tsang getting dangerously low, however, but healed up. Not a lot of damage going back and forth. They're just kind of poking, seeing where the... Ooh, Raxa with a clean headshot onto Shimex.
Actually, Pip taking out... actually, Raxa getting a clean body shot, and then Pip taking out the rest of the damage there. Raxa doing a really good job, dealing a lot of damage to that Lucio, keeping him on his feet.
Looks like UCLA is doing a fantastic job of moving in here. Almost a clean sweep. Looks like Shimex on Tracer. He was Soldier 76 before he died and switched off onto Tracer. A team kill in the first 45 seconds for UCLA. Man, are these guys a force to be reckoned with.
UCLA taking that chokehold and, you know, making it really not a chokehold there. They just kind of pushed right through it. Here we see Raxa kind of backing off, getting a little bit too far.
Overextension. Yeah, I agree with you. Stanford looking like they're switching up the composition a little bit, not taking Soldier 76. Too much of a fat target for Raxa to hit. Shimex on Tracer, hopefully a little better.
Yeah, and there we see Atlas on Roadhog really just looking for some key hooks, not really able to find anything there. You know, he's trying to get those hooks, but it's unfortunately not really working out for him around that corner.
Here we have AXD6 on Junkrat doing a great job of taking out Reinhardt's shield right there. Getting chased down by a Moira ball. Looks like Shimex is hiding with 2 HP. He's getting hunted down. On the back of that Zarya, looks like we have that sound wave.
And he's actually going to get hit from the Reinhardt shatter. He's going to be able to recall that, though, as well. And it looks like, you know, UCLA is going to be able to clean house again on Stanford.
He's uncontested in the backline. However, it doesn't seem to be enough. They just don't care. They take out the entire front line of Stanford. Shimex was in the backline the entire time. Zenyatta pops his Transcendence, and they just walk with the payload. Flawless team play from UCLA.
Yeah, you know, UCLA doing a very, very good job, you know, pushing this payload. Really, they haven't been really stopped here, except for just around that corner when Stanford was holding a little bit. AXD getting really, really low on that Junkrat.
Yeah, a little bit of an overextension, but like I said previously, it's going to be on the tanks, and here we see Sireku and Juggernaut both on fire. Juggernaut doing a great job of taking out Prodigal Son's Reinhardt.
Hey, you know, we see Juggernaut really far in the back line of Stanford right now, just kind of swinging his hammer, going a lot. Raxa getting 2 very clean headshots there.
Raxa. Oh my God, no mercy. Oh Jesus, Raxa, stop.
Stop. Leave him alone. Let him regroup, buddy.
Yeah, you know, Raxa is just doing a really, really good job making everybody start to be stragglers.
Yeah, they're having to stream in. They don't really have a choice. Looks like it's going to be a clean push from UCLA. I don't see Stanford able to stop this. Pip is on fire. The whole team's on fire for that matter. Shimex, however, trying to do the best he can on Pip. It's just not enough.
And here we see UCLA, great performance. Here we see that coalescence, not really showing up, but still coming out.
3 people down for Stanford. Looks like they're just camping. They're just, I mean, what more can I say? You can see it all for yourself. Raxa doing a fantastic job. Jesus Christ, 2. Are we going to get 3? Yeah, that counts. 3. 3 clean kills back-to-back for Raxa. A flawless push for UCLA. I think 2 minutes of gameplay, just a clean sweep.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, UCLA and that Raxa, like we said, Rax is definitely a player to be looking for, and he showed it.
He's Grandmaster for a reason. He's proving that today. Like it was a spectacle to watch. 4 clean headshots on the first point at least. 3 back-to-back kills, 4 back-to-back kills on the second point right there on Kings Row. They were genuinely unstoppable. Flawless team coordination, flawless team composition, great players all around. Now, let's talk about their opposition a little bit, Zader.
Yeah, you know, Stanford, you know, actually really did a good job as far as the defense went, you know, there as first. But, you know, that Roadhog sitting in the hotel trying to get a pick probably wasn't the right position for him to be in, because as soon as they pushed around that corner, the Roadhog did have to come all the way around. Would have liked to see him kind of most likely be in a better position there. And hopefully we'll see, you know, something here from Stanford here on the attack as we move into this next round.
Here we are going to be jumping in onto the return push for Stanford. Let's see if they're going to be capable of pushing it equally as well as UCLA did. Both teams running Moira, Stanford electing to take Reaper on AXD6, and Shimex on Widowmaker. Let's see if he's going to have as much luck as Raxa did in the previous matchup.
Not 100% sure if the Hanzo's a troll or if they're going to actually run 3 DPS here on this push from Stanford.
Maybe I'm just out of the loop, but Hanzo's been played 3 times on offense on this map. Maybe we're just missing something and he's actually good? I mean, I don't want to say that. That's a little bit bold that Hanzo's like viable or something like that. But I mean, by the looks of things, they're actually going to run it.
They're going to run a triple DPS here from Stanford. It's going to be really interesting. Having that Reinhardt as the solo shield is going to be really hard to...
Oh my god!
Shimex.
Jesus Christ.
He found that Mercy, and now the Mercy does not exist.
Yeah, Ella... Whatever how you pronounce that for UCLA, the Mercy player, he's not very happy with himself right there. Shimex seems to be popping off on the backline of UCLA. Oh my god, another clean headshot on Sang's Moira.
That's both supports down there for UCLA. It looks like Stanford's actually going to be able to get a really good push here. Raxa here on the backline as McCree able to take out Atlas. And Pip taking out, oh my god, Raxa is cleaning house here. He's able to find that Widowmaker. Looks like they're going to have a little bit of battle. The Raxa is going to take everything out. Raxa coming in on the backline, flanking, and that was it.
Bobbin and weaving. Raxa has UCLA on his back this game. He just got 5 consecutive kills and completely stopped Stanford's push in spite of them doing such a great job initially moving onto the point. Here we have Pip on Junkrat getting his ultimate ready. That's going to halter Stanford even further. Yeah,
you know, Stanford running that triple DPS is definitely a really interesting decision. That Reinhardt is just not able to tank enough damage. You know, here we see Shimex taking out both supports, but they just don't have enough to be able to push in. Raxa taking out Reaper. They're going to be 1 down on Stanford's push. It looks like they're going to have to wait just a small
High Noon
second.
Coming out here for Raxa. Not seeming to get any kills. The Reinhardt shield from Prodigal Son is enough. However, he ties up Moira in the background and eliminates her with a clean body shot.
Shimex is actually able to take out the Mercy once more. Looks like you know, UCLA is taking out that Mercy you know, quite a bit.
I completely agree with you there. An amazing headshot coming out there from Shimex, eliminating that Mercy. He's not letting her have any fun this game. Pip still holds onto his Junkrat ultimate.
Yeah, you know, Pip is going to hold that Junkrat ultimate. He's definitely going to wait for them to group up. They're going to push into that hotel, and here we see Pip most likely going to pop that tire here in just a second. Here we see that tire coming out now, and here we see Pip getting 2 picks there on both of the supports there of Stanford, and here we see UCLA doing a very, very good job at you know, still just holding Stanford off.
I completely agree with you. UCLA is doing just flawless work almost on the back of Raxa and Sireku on Zarya. He's doing a fantastic job of mitigating a majority of that damage. That being said, Stanford on Shimex, he's doing awesome work getting headshots on Mercy left and right. It's just not enough. The rest of the team cannot capitalize on the opportunities that he's giving them. Here we have a little bit of a Reinhardt battle back and forth. However, Juggernaut does have that Zarya ulti. Tactical Visor coming out here for Atlas, coupled with the hammer down. I don't think it's going to be enough. However, Prodigal Son does get 2 clean kills on UCLA.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Stanford coming up with a brilliant push here on UCLA. They're actually going to be able to take this point. LT Sox actually is able to get a res off on that as Mercy onto Raxa. Raxa, you know, trying to get in the back line, trying to, you know, get a little bit better position to hopefully clean house, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to do much. They're doing a really good job here at contesting, though. UCLA is on the defense, but it looks like they're actually going to have to lose that point and back off to regroup.
After all of that defending from UCLA, Shimex is able to come in here and do clean headshots, one after the other, onto UCLA's backline. Not focusing on the tanks, which is good. He's dropping supports left and right. He's dropping DPS players left and right. Raxa doing a great job of trying to carry his team, but it just wasn't enough for that first point.
And here we see Stanford running now 2 tanks. Here when the payload starts pushing, we see that Roadhog coming back out with Stanford, and hopefully they're going to be able to, you know, hold a little bit better as far as these pushes go. Here we see Quirky here with the beat, and here we see a Junkrat Tower come out from Pip. He's going to try to hide it, come around the corner.
Junkrat Tower's a little hidden. However, immediately picks off Moira. A great pick from Pip right there. Raxa also taking out AXD6 with a clean headshot. Shimex seems to survive in the backline, but that did halter the push from Stanford.
Yeah, you know, Raxa doing an absolutely brilliant job in this McCree right now, and Shimex doing an absolutely brilliant job as Widowmaker. You know, the two are having you know, kind of a show-off.
They're a little bit of back and forth. I'm not sure which one's actually outperforming the other. I think I would give it to Shimex on the little bit. That being said, Raxa did have those 5 kills earlier on, and he does have his high noon ultimate right now.
Yeah, and here we see Atlas actually switching off that Roadhog onto Zarya now. Shimex getting taken out from Pip throwing a pancake.
Pip throwing a pancake, doing some awesome damage. However, here we see Tracer in the backline, that high noon being popped from Raxa. Let's see if he can get any kills with it. He's trying to walk around the side. Not enough.
Slow high
Not
noon
enough.
walk.
Great job from Stanford to mitigate that damage. Ooh, clean.
XD6, not really having a good day as Tracer. McCree, flashbang, headshot.
Tracer does not do too well against McCree, let me tell you that much. It's possible, but it's not a favorable matchup that you want to be taking. You want to be focusing those supports. Sireku holding his Graviton Surge. That's also going to stop Stanford from pushing.
Yeah, it looks like Graviton Surge is up for both teams. UCLA having a little bit more ults than Stanford here at the moment. Atlas does not have his Graviton Surge yet. Here we see a huge battle. Coalescence coming in onto that Graviton Surge. Both Coalescence coming out. Looks like it's going to be it's almost Dragon Ball Z.
I'm firing my laser. Juggernaut diving into the backline. Stanford having both of their supports and their DPS getting immediately cleaned up. Sang, however, is able to take out Shimex as well. The supports for UCLA are doing damage. The DPS players for UCLA are doing damage. The tanks for UCLA are doing damage. Stanford does not have an answer.
Yeah, and you know, Seth, I agree with you on that one. Stanford is doing their best. They definitely had an answer earlier on in the game with Shimex on that Widowmaker.
Ooh, clean.
Speaking of Shimex,
clean.
on the Widowmaker having answers.
Get out of here, Pip. Don't you overextend on me.
Oh,
AXD6 trying to make something happen with his pulse bomb, trying to get a good look. Not enough. Zarya shield saves his life.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to have to recall on that one. It looks like he's going to come around with that pulse bomb. Let's see what he's able to do with this. If he gets a stick on the support, it's going to be absolutely huge. Looks like he's going to whiff the stick, and no one's going to get hit with that pulse bomb.
He fluffs it. 12 seconds left for Stanford moving in here. They do retain the hammer down. It's going out right now. A fantastic 6-man hit.
Huge shatter there from Prodigal Allison. Raxa coming out with the McCree. McCree is able to get actually just one pick. Unfortunately, everyone else is going to get taken out. Sireku still holding the point. Juggernaut still on the point as Reinhardt. Sireku coming out with the Graviton Surge. Reinhardt's going to have a heyday throwing his hammer out. Sireku getting 2 picks with that Graviton Surge coming out. And it looks like they are going to be able to hold that point. Tracer's going to be a little bit of a pest, trying to hold this overtime as much as possible. And Juggernaut says, yeah, no, don't do that. Solo shatter onto that Tracer, taking him out, making sure that she cannot be a pest. It looks like Juggernaut's going to get the charge there on Prodigal Allison.
Shimex doing his best to take out the supports. It just is a little too late. They tried their best to hold the point. That shatter down Earth Shatter rather, from Prodigal Sun hit a vast majority of UCLA's team. Here we see Sureku with play of the game, not the Shatter down. That's interesting, I think.
And here we see it's probably going to be this initial push. Actually, yeah, it looks like, you know, Sureku doing a really good job, laying out a lot of damage, staying at a 100% charge.
100% charged Zarya is a force to be reckoned with. Now we understand why that first push happened so quickly. They shot Zarya's shield. That's exactly why it happened so quickly.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you just don't charge that Zarya shield. You know, Pip being on Junkrat, free charge on a Zarya shield. You know, you just sit there and eat the bombs. That's all you got to do, and that's 40 charge, and have someone else, have your Reinhardt go and sit in front of a shield, and that's another 40 charge, and you have 80.
I love how that interaction plays out. They buffed Junkrat so much, they made him incredibly viable with the double pancake bombs, and because of that we saw a resurgence of Zarya. Zarya drastically came back into the meta. She couples so well with her Graviton Surge. She works with Tracer Bombs, and especially with Moira, her Convergence ultimate, not only does it heal, but
it's Coalescence.
It's Convergence, I think. We'll debate that later. Anyways, it does really, really well coupled with Moira ultimates. Considering the fact that it heals and damages at the same time, not only is she capable of putting massive amounts of damage on the front lines with the Graviton Surge, but it also hinders her team from perishing when they try and capitalize on it.
I definitely agree with you there, and the Reinhardt Zarya pick is also something that I love seeing, because as soon as that Graviton Surge comes out, Reinhardt can just swing his hammer and get a massive amount of damage off of that whole Graviton Surge. I mean, he can swing on everybody that's in there. He get his ult charge so fast, and as soon as they're out of that Graviton Surge, anybody that's living, most likely going to get an Earth Shatter.
Yeah, I agree with you. The composition that Stanford was running, I really, really enjoyed. They had the Earth Shatter from the Reinhardt, and they had the Graviton Surge from the Zarya. That immense amount of crowd control effects from their two beefy frontline tanks that basically says to the enemy team, hey, you have to give us space and you have to spread out and not group up too close together, otherwise we're going to make you suffer for it. And then they coupled that with a Tracer. Tracer, she fluffed her ultimate when Zarya had Graviton Surge near charge. Had Tracer held onto her Pulse Bomb, waited for Zarya to use her Graviton Surge, jumping around the back, and then drop the Pulse Bomb, that would have been a team kill for Stanford.
And let's go ahead and talk about the two highlight DPS players of this team, Shimix for Stanford and Raxa for UCLA. Absolutely showing their colors, doing everything that they can to make sure that they are a feared player.
Shimix came out on that Widowmaker and he said, hey Raxa, you're not the only one that can get headshots in that games. However, Raxa countered and he got 5 amazing headshots on the first defense when it was Stanford trying to push. He stopped that first push. He didn't let anything happen and it was completely on his back. He had 5 headshot kills. Fantastic to see. Which one of the two do you think was better, probably?
You know, I'm definitely going to say that Raxa had a lot better of a performance, you know, switching off of the Widowmaker there when they were playing defense and playing that McCree instead, and actually playing the McCree for the rest of the match after that as well. And that McCree was phenomenal. I mean, he was hitting everything, his shots. He got his flanks down so well. He was able to stay alive. He was able to pick off the Tracer when Tracer got in the back line. He did everything that he needed to do. I'm going to give a lot of props to Raxa.
I completely agree, especially since the choice that he was on was McCree. McCree's a little bit out of meta. He's not unviable. I'm not going to say that. McCree's really good. But with the way Tracer and Genji in the state of the game, he's kind of fallen off a little bit. So interesting to see him being played so effectively. We are actually going to move right on to our next matchup between UCLA and Stanford on Temple of Anubis.
You know, Temple of Anubis is really an interesting map. And like I've said before, definitely not one of my favorite maps to play. You just need so much coordination and everything that everything that Temple of Anubis requires is a lot, and you know it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what they run here. You know, I'm most likely expecting the Widowmakers to come back out here from either Raxa or Shimix.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's such amazing line of sights that you can have on this map. Raxa, I'm going to look to you on the Widowmaker. He's going to be getting headshots left and right, almost uncontested, especially if they're on defense, because he can just sit up there on that high ground and just fire away.
I will definitely agree with you on that one. It's going to be really interesting to see what they choose to counter Raxa on the Widowmaker here. You know, if they either choose a Winston or they choose a full dive comp to just get on that Widowmaker and take care of her as soon as possible.
Tracer usually does a pretty good job. However, Widowmaker has such good high ground opportunities on Temple of Anubis that it kind of makes Tracer irrelevant. She cannot physically get up to where Widowmaker is. Here we can see some of these choke points that we were highlighting earlier. Here we have the choke point leading into the second point, followed by that hallway right there. It's definitely favors Widowmaker play.
Yeah, and there we see the two arches there that Widowmaker can stand on, and then you see that just back there, right next to the point, the Widowmaker is most likely going to be standing on as well. And here we go. It's going to go ahead and get right into the action. Raxa actually going to start off on Widowmaker. This is going to be absolutely brilliant to see what he can do with this Widowmaker right now.
Orza shields, though. Great hit from Stanford to take the Orza to try and counter that. Awesome job. Looks like UCLA is going to be on offense. He's getting tied up a little bit by Shimix on Tracer in the backline. Choosing to take that high ground, putting good damage onto Orza. A clean headshot from Raxa.
Yeah, Raxa, you know, on this Widowmaker, I told you, someone's going to run Widowmaker here, and if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Raxa. Juggernaut getting a pick on Atlas. Stanford defense is not holding up quite well here. AXD is actually able to take out Pip, but Raxa is going to answer that.
Some good back and forth here between both teams. Shimix remaining alive and immediately picked off by Sireku. Made me speak too quickly. UCLA, taking 3 members down for Stanford with another falling shortly. Looks like they're going to do a clean hold of the first point for UCLA.
Yeah, and here they're going to go ahead and start setting up for that push again. Here we see Winston, you know, coming up to try to see if he can contest the point a little bit. Definitely not a really good choice there from Atlas. Definitely would have liked him to see back here on this point. You know, UCLA is going to have an advantage on this push if Winston doesn't come up in time. Stanford
overextending a little bit right there. They were trading back and forth on the first point, which definitely favors the offense. Here we have Siriku actually on Zarya taking out Shimix.
And here we see Shimix on the Sombra here on the second point. Sombra on the second point is absolutely brilliant. Getting all those health pack tactics, absolutely critical. Raxa here looking for picks.
Raxa looking for the Zenyatta, like you were saying, actually not doing too good of a job. Juggernaut popping off with that whole hog ultimate, taking out 2 members of Stanford's defense. 4 members are down. I don't think they're going to be able to stop UCLA's push.
Stanford's defense is definitely faltering here. He's looking for that Riptire. Raxa is going to find that Riptire and take it out. Unfortunately, AXD is not going to be able to get anything off of that Riptire.
Reinhardt diving in onto the point is contested right now. Raxa doing his best. Jeez Louise. 3 clean picks, back to the other. Light Sox popping that Transcendence ultimate, and another clean push within the first minute and a half of play from UCLA. They are almost unstoppable.
I am absolutely blown away at UCLA's push there on Temple of Anubis. I'm sorry, I forgot the map there for a second.
The one we all hate.
Yeah, I hate it so much I don't even remember the name. But UCLA's performance on that push was phenomenal. They did not falter a single bit. Raxa staying alive the entire game. Flawless. Getting headshots, getting picks, everything.
The way that they do they had that back and forth going on a little bit at the start of the game. They had the offense and the defense trading kills one with another. That heavily favors the offense. On Temple of Anubis, you spawn so far away from that first point. If you die, it's probably a good 15-20 seconds before you can walk back to that point. However, if an offensive character dies, 5 seconds with Tracer blinks to get right back into the fray.
That walk is just something that you do not want to suffer, and as soon as one pick goes through, I mean, and we saw from UCLA, they got 1 pick, pushed, and they pushed through all the way. And then Winston, unfortunately, making a big mistake of pushing in and trying to hold that point for as long as possible, and he got killed, and it gave UCLA the advantage once more to push in on the second point immediately.
I completely agree. UCLA knowing perfectly how to capitalize on the picks that Raxa gives them on Widowmaker. They see the opportunities that they have, and they capitalize on it. So hats off to UCLA.
Yeah, and and we're going to go ahead and get started on to the second match here. In just a second, we're going to see UCLA on the defense and Stanford there on the offense. And it'll definitely be interesting to see what Raxa is able to pull here as Widowmaker again, because we're most likely going to see Raxa on Widowmaker. And of course, we do once more. Raxa is still on that Widowmaker. And here we see Shimix actually pulling out the Widowmaker on offense. Let's see what they will be able to do. Shimix hopefully going to be able to get a pick on Raxa immediately.
Shimix versus Raxa. Let's see who is the primary. However, Stanford immediately taking that left flank. A great job by them. And they seize the high ground. Not a convincing look from UCLA immediately.
UCLA actually holding a lot higher ground. Orisa able to get all the way up on that point. UCLA is actually doing a really good job at holding all of this point. Raxa's going to go ahead and try to take care of that Winston. Looks like he's not going to find a pick, but now he's just looking for everybody in the back line. AXD going to sit in the back line, kind of be a pest.
AXD6 doing his best, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He is isolated on the point. It's only a matter of time before they finally catch down that slippery tracer and take her out.
AXD actually doing a...
there we go.
Oh, what? A May?
A May pick from UCLA on defense. I like it. I like it a lot.
As much as I hate May, I love seeing it. And Raxa is still getting clean headshots.
Ooh.
Doesn't even let me speak.
Raxa, you make me tingle. That was clean. Oh, nice work from UCLA. They looked a little shaky on the first point right there. Raxa definitely rallying the team together and saying we will not fall down this easily.
Ooh, Shimix getting a good body shot there on Raxa, and Raxa unfortunately not able to really get anything. Shimix is really looking for Raxa. He wants to take him out because he knows Raxa is a big problem. XD getting picked off again by Pip.
The supports from UCLA are doing a surprisingly good job. Coupled with their tanks, they have amazing synergy, and they are able to handle these tracers, and looks like Reaper as well for Stanford.
Yeah, and it's definitely interesting to see that Reaper, because Reaper has a really hard time actually pushing in that choke without his team. He's got to have a full team going through. He's got to make sure that he sticks with his tanks to make sure he does not get picked off. And like I said, if he doesn't stick with his team, he's just going to die.
You called it, Sader. You called it. Reaper a little bit out of position. Shimix, however, able to counter with a headshot on Sing. Nothing you can do about that on May. I love the pick, but I don't think she's as relevant as she could be on this first point. However, they are still holding the high ground.
And May is going to come back with her ult. Raxa getting picks on Atlas. Looking for that Reaper, looking for Shimix. Shimix looking for a shot here. Shimix getting really, really low. Oh, looks like he's going to be about 2 HP. Raxa getting some clean headshots here. Shimix hiding behind that pillar. He doesn't want to go anywhere.
I don't think he knew he was behind that either. He was just kind of looking for it. Prodigal Sun actually trying to seize this left side of the map with Stanford, trying to push up here onto the high ground. I think they might be able to do it. That Orza shield is falling dangerously low. May ultimate popping out from Sang.
Oh, Sang actually throwing out a brilliant May ultimate there. He knew that they were going to go in that corner, and Sang said, no, that is my room. Have some ice.
May, one of my favorite people to play. I know that makes me like Satan incarnate to be a May player. Tracer and May, that's it, but May on this point is phenomenal, and I absolutely agree with her pick.
And here we see UCLA coming in with 3 ultimates to go. Only Orisa and May using their ultimates on that push, and that is all that they needed. And here we see everyone staying behind that Ryan shield, not wanting to get picked off. Unfortunately, he's able to get a headshot there onto Winston.
Juggernaut actually taking out Ace and Fast, the Mortar player. Sang doing another clean damage output onto Stanford's front line. UCLA doing a phenomenal job of holding. However, they are getting backdoored.
Yeah, and here we see Orisa trying to take care of that back door from Atlas. Atlas really is doing a good job staying on the point, you know, trying to split the team up. But, you know, unfortunately, Stanford did not have enough players up to handle a split push like that. AXD coming in with the Reaper ult, hopefully able to find something in this next 30 seconds. It looks like it's going to be the last and final push.
He's in a good position with that Reaper ultimate. Let's see if he's going to be capable of utilizing it to its full potential. We've only got 20 seconds left. Shimix holding his ulti. 4 ults for Stanford. They have to make something happen. Hammer down, dropping down right now, coupled with that Reaper ultimate. However, countered with the sound barrier.
Oh, unfortunately, he wasn't able to find any picks there. Yeah, that Lucio ultimate, like you said, able to really just suck up all of that damage from that Reaper ultimate. And Orisa's unstoppable force on blocking all of that damage as well. And it looks like Stanford, unfortunately, will not be able to push anything on UCLA.
UCLA, Pip, my man. Earth Shatter coupled with a Reaper ultimate, a Death Blossom, that got 0 kills. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in my life.
And here we see, most likely, Sang's brilliant mail in this room, freezing everybody. Nobody's able to escape except for Reaper because, you know, Reaper is not human and Reaper doesn't like the cold.
I don't maybe he doesn't feel the cold. He might enjoy it a little bit. I don't know. May, my goodness, fantastic pick from UCLA. I totally love it. She does such a good job when she pops up her ice wall that removes some of the flanking opportunities. Mostly what people do is they seize that high ground where some of those fruit stands are. They try and get some of their fruit up there on the high ground, and they just hold it for as long as they possibly can. The way that teams counter that is they'll move into that left room and then fight right there with their Junkrats and stuff like that, because the AoE is much easier. If you pop a May wall right there, they don't have that entry, and so then it forces them to go into Raxa's Widowmaker sites.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Sang and Pip, actually. Sang on that May and Pip on that Lucio, actually really saving the end of that game. Sang, you know, coming in with that May pick, definitely kind of an odd pick, and it might have thrown off Stanford, you know, a little bit, seeing that, you know, May is just not something that you'll really generally see. And Pip coming at the end of the game with the beat drop and, you know, protecting his entire team from the Earth Shatter and from the Reaper ultimate.
I totally agree with you, Zader. I think that Pip's ulti with the sound barrier right there should have been play of the game. He countered 2 ultimates. He countered the Earth Shatter and he countered the Death Blossom from Reaper and Reinhardt respectively. Had they not had Lucio's sound barrier right there, that would have been a team kill and a first point hold by Stanford.
Yeah, and you know, Stanford definitely had a lot of good pushes there on UCLA. They tried their best. They did everything they could, but that Mei just really blocked them off from pushing in that left room. And no matter how many times they tried to push into that left room, they really weren't able to do it. And Raxa, unfortunately, really, not unfortunately, but Raxa doing a really good job at making sure that Stanford couldn't really push any farther. And honestly, I don't have any problems with Raxa. Raxa's doing everything that he needs to be doing.
I think a couple of times he overextends maybe just a little bit, but that's the only criticism that I could possibly give him. The reason why I think he can do it is because he knows that he has faith in his tanks and he has faith in his supports to back him, bail him out if he needs it. That comes through hours and hours of team communication. UCLA probably has hundreds of hours backed up into their Overwatch team. I am definitely impressed. On the offhand, though, Stanford as well doing a phenomenal job with their team compositions. It just seems they're getting slightly outperformed.
Yeah, just a little bit outperformed there by UCLA from Stanford. And Stanford actually is doing a really, really good job at doing everything they can. You know, and just knowing that Raxa is doing so well, you know, they need to hopefully focus on Raxa here in this next game, as they haven't really been putting as much effort into it, except for Shimix. And you know, and Shimix is doing a really, really good job at, you know, contesting Raxa as much as he can.
I agree. Hats off to Shimix right there. His Widowmaker, his offensive players, his Tracer, he is doing his best to try and mess up UCLA. It doesn't seem to be enough, though. His team, especially Prodigal Sun and Quarky, I think Quarky is the support player. Prodigal Sun was on the Reinhardt. Prodigal Sun has been landing fantastic Earth Shatter after Earth Shatter. It's just that UCLA seems to be prepared for it. When he lands the Earth Shatter, they always have something to counter, whether it be a Transcendence or a Graviton Surge from their own Zarya. I just think that UCLA has the upper hand, and we are going to head right into our next matchup on Lijiang Tower.
And we're going to go ahead and look at these map standings here real quick just before we switch over to Lijiang Tower. And as we can see here, hopefully it'll come up here just a moment. We'll see that, so the map overview for Lijiang Tower here coming up soon. Kings Row, UCLA 3, Stanford 1, Temple of Anubis, UCLA 2, Stanford 0.
All right, let's get that look at what Lijiang Tower is going to be presenting for you guys.
So about Lijiang Tower, actually, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be the first King of the Hill map, or control point map, whatever you'd like to call it, that we're going to go ahead and see here today. Lijiang Tower is definitely one of those that is very closed off. All of those points are, you know, really actually small rooms, unless it's the, oh man, I can't remember exactly which one, but it's a big open area there on Lijiang Tower.
I think it's Night Garden, the one where it goes into the points and there's kind of that vast amounts of dead zone off there that really favors Pharah and Mercy play. I definitely am looking forward to seeing a Pharmacy comp out of probably UCLA. I don't think Raxa is going to be playing the Pharah. I don't think that was on one of his pick lists, but I definitely would like to see Pharmacy coming out of either team. That composition is incredibly powerful on all 3 maps on Lijiang Tower.
I really do think that Pharmacy pick is a good pick there, Ninja. I agree with you on that one for sure. We'll have to see exactly what they choose to do here. As far as Lijiang Tower goes, you can see a lot of actually different compositions here. You can see, triple tank compositions, quad tank compositions here, even if, in this new meta, because Lucio and Moira healing is insane. Or you can see the Fire Mercy compositions, or you can see the full dive compositions. There's so much variety that you can see on this map. It's going to be something really exciting to see.
The one character I am definitely looking forward to see, though, Zader, is Lucio. He is so prevalent on this map, as you're going to be able to see heading in here. There's a lot of dead zone that Lucio can take effect and boot people off into their grave. He is such a tight corridors that, however, that it completely maximizes his healing. Everyone's going to be in that circle almost 100% of that time. As you can see, there's the corridors in there that leads into the point. It's such an enclosed space that leads out into dead zone. Look for Lucio to be the pick of the day.
And here we see both teams coming out, rolling out. Here we see UCLA running more of a little bit of a weird composition here. Raxa on that Hanzo. Hopefully he's going to have just as good aim.
Pip doing a fantastic job of taking out AXT6. Raxa on Hanzo immediately sniping out Lucio. A fantastic show from UCLA leading here into the start of this game. Juggernaut also taking out Shimix. 3 characters down for Stanford.
Yeah, it looks like Stanford's really having a hard time here getting on the point. Atlas running that Mei now. It looks like Stanford's trying to answer with that Mei. I'm not 100% sure what they're gonna be able to do here. AXD6 actually is not just gonna get on the point. It's looking like they're gonna ask for a regroup.
I completely agree with you. A near flawless opening here from UCLA. With the Hanzo pick, I find that incredibly interesting. Hanzo, a little bit out of meta, however, he's still viable.
Yeah, and you know that Hanzo is actually really fun to see. He's doing such a good job at it. And Raxa has such good aim. Shimix on that Widowmaker, getting taken out by Pip.
Widowmaker a bit too much of a long-distance character for this up close of a map. Looks like UCLA is popping that Dragon Blade right now, diving in on top of the Lucio. Lucio trying his best to escape. Corky going down immediately, as well as Prodigal Son. He's going to the back on Moira. Moira barely able to escape. Pip taking down to 50% of his HP.
Unfortunately, that Dragon Blade ended just a second before he could get that last blade off, and Moira was able to deal enough damage onto him to make Pip back off just a little bit. And looks like Stanford is going to have to regroup here for another push. And here we see that Lucio standing on that bridge, hopefully looking for boobs. Raxa actually throwing out that the Dragon Ultimate here, taking out one person there from Stanford, and here we see UCLA again taking out the entire team of Stanford, and Stanford is going to have to regroup again. Raxa getting 3 picks on that fight.
A clean sweep from UCLA. Shimix, he scared me a little bit. He blinked backwards over the bridge right there and tried to get it to the point. I almost thought he went into the drink right there, but looks like Stanford's going to have maybe 1 or 2 more pushes coming out. 80% left for UCLA before it's 100-0.
Yeah, and here we see Pip doing a really good job there on that Genji. You know, we see him on Lucio, we see him on Genji, we see him on a variety of things. Shimix running on that Tracer, getting very in the back lane. It looks like Stanford here is going to have their last push. Unfortunately, Prodigal Sun is not going to be able to get into the point.
Transcendence coming out there from Little Socks. Juggernaut knocking people off of the point with his whole hog ultimate. Great work coming out from there. Shimix getting sucked in with that Graviton Surge and immediately taken out by Juggernaut with a clean body shot. It was a convincing look from Stanford, just wasn't enough.
Yeah, UCLA doing a really, really good job at holding that point, not only capturing it first, but you know, doing a really good job at just holding it and keeping Stanford away from the point every single time they tried to push. We saw 1 pick every single time they came out of that choke, whether it be Prodigal Sun or the Tracer or, you know, the Moira. Someone was getting picked off every time Stanford tried to push. And Raxa on the Hanzo throwing out the ultimate, throwing out random arrows, just getting picks. Doing what Raxa does, apparently.
I agree with you. The Hanzo pick on Raxa is definitely the most interesting component of that team comp. However, it worked out flawlessly. Stanford was trying to run a flanker composition. Hanzo does really, really well against flankers with that scatter arrow. And here we see he's going to retain the Hanzo pick, moving on to Lijiang Night Garden.
And as we see Night Garden, it looks like this is a little bit more of an open map, so it'll be really interesting to see exactly what they run here. Raxa still on that Hanzo. It looks like Sang is going to be able to get taken out immediately by Prodigal Sun.
Both teams trying to seize that middle ground. Atlas, however, is on this Mercy, diving into the backline, trying to take out the Zenyatta. It seems that he's getting away, and then he comes right back in. UCLA actually getting taken out by Shimix and AXD6.
You know, AXD6 doing a really good job, you know, taking out the entire team of UCLA. And Stanford's actually able to take that point. It looks like Stanford really is doing a much better job here on this map. Shimix getting in the back, trying to take out that Zenyatta. Looks like he's having a little bit of troubles just finding that last tick there, and there we go.
He was a little bit inefficient with his blink usage right there, using one or two too many, but he still was able to get the job done. Irrelevant, though, because Raxa and Sireku are doing ridiculous amounts of damage on to Stanford.
And Stanford, unfortunately, let the backdoor point get taken from Lucio. Lucio's just going to sit on the point and say, hey, this is my point now.
Juggernaut with a great pick there on Atlas. You should never really see Roadhogs able to kill Pharahs on this map, but I guess that's possible if you are as good as UCLA's Juggernaut.
Yeah, and here we see Pip getting some pop shots there with those shurikens. Dragon Blade coming up there for Pip. It looks like UCLA is going to have about 3 ultimates here for this defense. And Atlas, whew.
Getting a little low there from Raxa. He did a pretty good job. He retains his Unleash the Dragon ultimate. I think it's going to be used right now. Looks like it's coming out, hitting right in the middle of the team. Parky dropping immediately. Shimix with a pulse bomb immediately takes out Raxa. Juggernaut, he gets 2 kills on Prodigal Son on AXD6. Atlas immediately counters by slaying Pip.
And here we see Shimix being taken out by Stanford as well. LT Sox doing a really, really good job there on Zenyatta, taking care of that Tracer. Juggernaut still alive, still doing so good. Headshots the Pharah. It looks like Moria is all left. She's going to be able to fade out, and they're going to be able to escape. Stanford's going to have to regroup on this one.
In spite of Stanford getting 2 or 3 picks right there, Juggernaut from UCLA was able to hold his ultimate on Roadhog. That is going to be such a key component to them retaining this point. He can knock people off into the dead zone. He can knock people off of the points. Stanford has to make something happen quick. We're moving up to 70% for UCLA.
And here we see Pip focusing down the Atlas as Pharah. Atlas is most likely going to have to switch off after that one. Here we see Sireku coming in with the Graviton Surge. Coalescence coming out from Stanford.
That's a completely incredible play right there from Sireku, nearly landing everyone in that Graviton Surge. Juggernaut landing amazing hooks on Prodigal Son, one after the other. He's messing up the backline. Raxa, at the exact same time, is able to clean up the opportunities that Juggernaut gives to him.
UCLA doing a brilliant job holding as defense, and it looks like they are going to be able to take this point and this map in general. UCLA doing a very, very good job at taking that point back.
100% to about 44, I
21.
think. 21. That's right. LT Sox, I think it's really difficult to get a play of the game on Zenyatta. It's one of my dreams to have that happen, but...
See what he kind of manages to do here. Getting some pot shots off.
Oh.
It looks like he's
a couple clean kills. He probably went on to kill that Tracer as well. It just didn't show it in the kill cam. Great work from Light Sox on Zenyatta. Definitely interesting to see him able to heal up his team. I also noticed that what they were doing on the second point during Night Garden is they just had the Zenyatta Harmony Orb on Raxa 100% of the time. They just gave it to Hanzo. It's like, okay, go on. Do your thing. We'll let you just go win the game for us.
You'll live. You'll do what you need to do. Rax is doing a great job. Hanzo, Widowmaker, not Tracer, McCree. Hanzo, Widowmaker, McCree. As I had mentioned before, he plays McCree, Widowmaker, and Hanzo, and that's all he's been playing, and he has been doing what he needs to do. He's been getting picks. He's been getting everything that he needs to do. Pip on that Genji, also doing a really good job.
He's definitely something to talk about. He did a fantastic job of messing up the backline for Stanford. He was able to dive in, isolate supports, separate the DPSs from their tanks, and really just make it impossible for Stanford to make any viable push happen onto any point in any situation. Pip is almost doing as good a job as Raxa is. I think Pip is giving Raxa the opportunities, and Raxa is capitalizing on them.
I really, really honestly think that that's something to be, to take note of, that Pip and Raxa, you don't see those two dying very much.
Yeah.
They do a very good job at staying alive. Their team keeps them alive. Their team knows that they need to live and that they need to be the ones to be getting those picks. But also, let's go ahead and focus on Shimix's Tracer.
Independently, I agree with you. The two of them are doing a great job of just being the best that they can be. Stanford is trying their hardest to try and damper those two from rampaging all over their composition, but it's not enough, and I think that really comes down to the tanks. Prodigal Son is doing as best as he can, but by himself, I don't think it's enough. He can't be the only one to land Earthshocks. He can't be the only person to make opportunities and then have his team just kind of let nothing happen with it. Or it gets countered by UCLA.
Yeah, and AXD running that Reaper as well, but really not able to get as far into the backline as he needs to. He's not able to get where he needs to go. Stanford and also Stanford ran earlier on that May. The Atlas as May was definitely not a pick that they really needed to have there at first. He wasn't able to really get as much picks off as he should have done, and you saw him switch off immediately. It definitely hindered them.
Yeah, I agree. Reaper is one of those interesting characters that by himself he is absolutely viable. He does ridiculous amounts of damage and he can sustain himself in team fights. He's one of the few characters that can do that, along with maybe Mercy, who has self-healing. But the thing is he has to be able to deal consistent damage. He doesn't have a very high health pool with only 250. If he's going to try and dive into a tank line or something like that, they've got to be isolated. You have to have the Reinhardt by himself and then Reaper can go and pick him off. You have to have the Orisa by herself and then Reaper can go and pick him off. I don't think that's going to work against such a well-coordinated team like UCLA. Their tanks are not going to let themselves get separated. They're going to stick together. They're going to play as a team, and that doesn't favor Reaper mechanics.
I really, really think that that is a great point to hit on. UCLA has great coordination. Everything that they do is obviously coordinated, but it works. It flows. And everything, as they push through, you can see everybody communicating. You can see everybody doing what they need to do, getting the picks, looking for who they need to look for, and diving on who they need to dive on.
Independently, all the players from USC are great players. But simultaneously, their team coordination is what impresses me most. Individually, they can all do fantastic jobs, but when they come together, it is harmony. That's not to count out Stanford, though. They have great team synergy. They have great team compositions. I just think UCLA is a little bit more well-oiled heading into this matchup between the two of them. However, it is only the first week of play. We might see these two teams come up against each other in the future, and it might not be the same result now that Stanford knows just how viable Raxa is on his Widowmaker.
And here we see the map standings again. Kings Row, Stanford 1, UCLA 3.
Yeah, for Stanford to even be able to take the point that they did was a pretty good job for them. Temple of Anubis obviously was a minute-and-a-half clean sweep in favor of UCLA.
Yeah, and and then there we saw Lijiang Tower actually really good contesting there as far as Stanford goes, but unfortunately Stanford's going to fall 0-2 to UCLA.
Yeah, fantastic work there on Lijiang. Dorado is going to be the next map. One of my all-time favorites. Not my favorite, but Dorado. I absolutely love it just because it's such a good map for Tracer, my girl.
Oh, it is a ton of fun for Tracer. It is also a ton of fun for Widowmaker as well. Here we're going to probably see Raxa run Widowmaker once more here on the
Raxa,
defense.
Oh, you.
But this is definitely a map that we haven't seen we haven't seen this type of map played by these teams yet here today. It looks like it's going to be a full payload map. We saw the first match there in the first match that we had today, and this full payload is going to be really interesting. We're probably going to see a lot more Mercy because, like you said, those long walkbacks are it's a pain. It's a pain. You really need that res. If the one pick goes down, you need that Mercy res. So we'll have to see exactly what they decide to run here. And like I said, that Widowmaker is most likely going to be a very key option.
Yeah, with our matches that we saw earlier today, I think when we were on Dorado, both teams ran Widowmaker. She is such an important part to any type of composition on this map. The line of sight is almost uncontested for a vast majority of the map in most locations. Like Dorado is such a Widowmaker, excuse me, Widowmaker heavy map that I think Raxa is going to be popping off. We might see Shimex take it, we might not. It's going to be interesting to see what the compositions are. As you can see, high ground locations, places for Widowmaker to be.
Yeah, and this map overview, here we see this big open area. This is something that really needs to be taken account for as far as Widowmakers go, because there is not enough places to hide for that Widowmaker to hide from that Widowmaker. I mean, that Widowmaker is going to get a lot of picks, and here we see right into the match here, we see UCLA running on the attack and Stanford on the defense.
Raxa taking that Widowmaker like we said she would, trying to get some great picks, getting a high ground shot right there, not able to do anything. Orisa shield, making sure that is what's going down.
As soon as that Orisa shield goes down, it looks like she was able to get a few shots there. Unfortunately, dropping a little bit low from the Zarya bombs. Moira jumping into the backline.
Looks like we're going to have a Genji from Pip diving into the backline of Stanford. Looks like he's going to be trying to put some punishment on those ports. However, Suriku is getting incredibly low. Some great action coming down here from Shimex, taking out Little Socks.
Oh, Shimex doing a really good job on this soldier. Great positioning from him, hiding from that Widowmaker, make sure that the Widowmaker cannot get any shots on him, dealing a lot of damage to all the tanks and everybody from UCLA. Shimex doing a great job, and then...
Shimex putting some good damage on Raxa, stopping that push. However, Sureku dives on top of him. Pip as well, putting some hurt onto that Mercy.
And here we see that Mercy really just doing what she can, shooting her gun, and it looks like they're gonna let her get away.
Oh, Oh, there we go. Okay. That was a little bit prolonged. Looks like we have UCLA immediately capturing the first point on Dorado. A little bit of action still going down. Little Sox actually taking out Corky.
And it looks like they're staggering Stanford here really well. They took a long time to kill that Mercy, and then they killed her. Now she's staggered. Now the Moira here. Took a long time to kill her. Now she's staggered. She's got a long walk back.
Maybe they did that intentionally to make sure that the Mercy would be more isolated from her team. That's actually a really, really high level of play coming out here from UCLA. I'm impressed.
The staggering is definitely something that we'd like to see here. And look, here we see the info sight coming out from Raxa's Widowmaker.
Shemex does have that Tac Visor ultimate, but I would be scared to pop my head out knowing that Raxa's probably looking for me.
Shemex and Juggernaut.
Yeah, the Sireku and Juggernaut diving on top of there, really messing up Stanford's defense.
Yeah, and you know, Shemex is just being forced off the high ground. Juggernaut and Sireku making sure that Shemex cannot hold that high ground, making sure that Raxa can have that high ground instead. And it looks like, you know, Shemex's Tac Visor is not going to have very much to do. AXD looking for something. He's going to maybe look for that Genji, but no, he's going to come back down.
He should have detonated it right there. He missed his opportunity. Sireku with a huge Diva ultimate cleaned up by Pip and Raxa. Fantastic team play from UCLA. A nearly 100% clean sweep from Stanford. Interesting play from Stanford. I don't think I would have popped my Junkrat tire right there and then not take out the Genji. He had such a clean opportunity to do so.
You are right there too. And Shemex switching on to Widowmaker. Hopefully has an answer.
I think he still had his Soldier 76 ulti. He never used it.
And you know, I don't think he had a real good time to be able to use that Soldier 76 ulti. He couldn't get on the high ground and he couldn't get that Diva out of mech, so he just felt probably a little bit useless.
Raxa doing a good job here, trying to take out the counter sniper in Ana, actually isolating that Zarya and taking her out right away. Raxa with a clean snipe on Prodigal Son, and Juggernaut takes out Atlas's Ana.
And yeah, here we see Raxa and Shemex having a little bit of a duel off here. Raxa holding the high ground really well, not really contested at all, and it looks like the payload is pushing.
Quirky, they can't even leave their spawn. Looks like Juggernaut's just popped there with his Primal Rage, punching him back into the door. A little bit of a poor show from Stanford. However, Graviton Surge coming out there from Prodigal Son, immediately countered by Sireku and Pip.
And it looks like Pip's going to be able to take out a lot of people in the backline, and it looks like they're going to have a full push on this payload with 4 minutes and 31 seconds remaining.
And a team kill from UCLA. Awesome job, awesome job. You can tell that UCLA is in love with these payload maps. On King's Row, once they got that payload, it only took them like 45 seconds for them to cap it 100%. It was incredible to see. Payload maps definitely seem to be what their speciality is, Zader.
Yeah, and I think that's completely right. You know, these payload maps, they're able to get on that payload, and once they're on the payload, it's a non-stop push from there on out. They're able to send people forward. They're able to make sure that they can push back. The payload's not going to get contested. Raxa able to get picks, hold the high ground, and anybody else that's holding the high ground, as you know, we saw Shemex there on Soldier as the high ground, and then we saw Juggernaut and Sireku jumping on him immediately and making sure that he did not have that high ground hold.
Their compositions are looking really, really strong coming out here onto that first point. However, Stanford, they did as good a job as anyone could possibly do. They just made a couple questionable decisions, and I think that could be attributed to nerves or something like that. But once they get their team compositions really worked out and really have good synergy on when to use ults, when to hold ults, when to where to use them, then I think they're actually going to be able to stop UCLA. Maybe Raxa may not be able to do such a good job on offense on Widowmaker, so let's look to him on McCree.
Yeah, you know,
or Hanzo.
Or Hanzo.
Or Hanzo.
Let's see the Hanzo again. Once more with the Hanzo. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what they run on this defense exactly. Let's see whether or not they choose to go dive heavy or, you know, shield heavy. You know, there's, like I said, there's a lot really that you can do with these new payload maps. I'm definitely going to see what it's interesting to see that Stanford actually running a Bastion composition. Pirate ship time.
UCLA on Symmetra.
Symmetra, 14% already.
Symmetra.
Oh, and it looks like we've actually had a disconnect there from UCLA. We're most likely going to see a pause come out here.
Not quite sure. It looks like it was...
or it's going to be an unfortunate unfair push because they're just going to be 5v6. So we're just going to see how UCLA decides to run that, and it looks like we're going to try to pause this match here in just a second.
Fortunately.
You know, UCLA and Stanford, unfortunately, not able to do much there, and hopefully we'll able to get we'll be able to get this figured out soon. Unfortunately, some technical issues. You know, but interesting to see what Stanford decided to do there. They ran a pirate ship composition. They ran Arista. They ran Reinhardt. You know, both of those people able to protect that bastion perfectly. You know, protecting that bastion is key to this pirate ship composition.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was interesting to see. By the way, we're probably just going to have to restart the game. It was a little bit of an unfair push. We're not sure if that's going to be the case. We will let you guys know. We will let you guys know, though. However, I do want to discuss the Symmetra pick from UCLA. She is one of the most underplayed characters in competitive Overwatch just because her mobility and her team fight potential is almost non-existent. However, I think if they're going to be running that Bastion shield heavy comp like you were saying that they were, I actually think it could work because Symmetra has her projection shield that she can shoot at a distance, and that does a great job of taking Pharah ultimates. You can use that to take McCree ultimates, Soldier 76 ultimates, a little less effectively, but still interesting to see Symmetra. I'm not sure if they're going to run her again or if they're going to continue with her or what the case is going to be with
and
that.
It'll definitely be interesting to see whether they choose a teleporter or a shield generator here. You know, that teleporter definitely does reduce that walk back, but, you know, at the same time, UCLA seems to be very confident in what they are doing, and you know, they possibly could just put a shield generator out because they know that, you know, they can hold, you know?
Yeah, if you're going to run the shield generator, you have to be confident in the fact that no one on your team is going to be caught out. No one on your team is going to be isolated. None of your team is going to be picked off. Because when you die and you have a shield generator up, not only are you losing the efficiency of being a character down, but you're going to lose the efficiency as now that person doesn't have the shields on them. Whereas if they could immediately teleport back into the fight, it's better to have the, for example, 600 armor on D.Va when she teleports right back than to have the... How many shields is it?
75.
Yeah, 75 shields. So what would you prefer? 600 health on a D.Va or 75 shields permanently on D.Va? It depends on whether or not they are capable of killing her.
Yeah, and like I said, killing her is the problem. UCLA is very, very confident in what they can do, you know, and they have shown that they're confident in Raxa being able to do everything that he needs to do, being able to get picks, being able to flank, being able to do, I mean, phenomenal amounts of damage there. And we saw him playing McCree there on the defense just before, you know, we had that unfortunate disconnection. We saw him, you know, getting in that back line and not really dying, not really taking any punishment. You know, they're not doing anything about it.
I totally agree. I think they should just come up with the anti-Raxa comp. I think that's what's going to work best for Stanford moving in here. But I don't think they're going to be capable of doing it. I think if they ran... I think they would have to run a Widowmaker. Shimex would have to be on Widowmaker, and he would have to get a lucky pick on Raxa right at the start of the game, and then that would secure a point. Once they kill Raxa, they kill USC.
Yeah, and I really, really think that Widowmaker actually is a strong pick. You are definitely right on that one. Shimex has a great Widowmaker. Shimex knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's shown us
but
that.
Instead, they're running that Bastion, which is going to be really risky. You know, if they ran that Bastion and they ran a Widowmaker here there along the side, you know, if Shimex ran Widowmaker and then, you know, you saw, you know, maybe AXD on Bastion instead, Shimex would be able to take care of that McCree. Shimex would be able to take care of any opposition, a Pharah, or you know, maybe even a Soldier, you know, anything that you'd see as far as countering a Bastion composition, even a Junkrat.
I agree with you, but I think Bastion may not be as irrelevant because oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Bastion, yeah, when you get him on top of the payload, if you have shields to defend him, he can do a great job of isolating people off of the payload, especially when the opposing team takes the high ground like they were doing. Once you get on top of that high ground, it's difficult for them to jump down and stall the payload itself. They do that by killing people off and not letting them get onto the payload. If you're sitting on top of the payload with Bastion and a Reinhardt shield and an Orza shield in front of you with a Mercy damage booster, there's no way that they're going to get to that Bastion. So then that forces them, hey, we have to jump down off the top of here or they're going to go underneath this bridge and then we can't stop them.
That's
and then
correct.
that forces them to jump down and then Bastion can get kills.
Yeah, you must take care of it immediately. And, you know, as far as jumping down goes, you got to jump down right as that payload's pushing around that corner because you got to get right on top of that Bastion or the shields are going to be right in front of him. You know, you're going to see most likely a Junkrat get right on top of there and just spam pancake bombs or, you know, spam just his regular left click just right onto that Bastion, because that's what you have to do, because you have so limited time before Bastion's just going to turn around and kill you.
Exactly, and Pip was running the Junkrat. It's going to be great to have him see, like, oh, you want to run Bastion? Here, have some Bisquick.
Right.
And Pancake Bomb on top of the payload. You can't put a shield against that because he can arc it right over the top when he has that high ground advantage. Fantastic pick from Pip on there on Junkrat. I think it's going to be mostly him that hinges the defense for UCLA, not necessarily Raxa, who was playing McCree. McCree's stun grenades, they're good at stalling it, but they aren't effective because you can very easily block them with Reinhardt shields if you have good angling.
Right, and you got to aim that Reinhardt shield just a little bit up so he can't lob it over. But then again, if you're angling it up, he'll flash your feet.
Exactly.
So it just depends on what you think that McCree is doing, and Rax is going to have some really, really good response time to figure out where exactly he wants to throw that flashbang if he wants to take that Reinhardt shield down there for that 1 second.
It's kind of some cat and mouse thing that you see going out. Like, you'll have the McCree and the Reinhardt, they'll come up to each other and they're like, okay, I know you've got stun grenade. Where are you going to throw it? Are you going to throw it up? And then he'll, like, either prediction go up and he'll wait for it, and then he'll throw the stun grenade down. And so that sometimes you'll just have them sitting there just kind of awkwardly staring at each other for a little bit because neither of them is able to do anything. It's an interesting interaction because for those of you who may not know, if McCree shoots his pulse grenade straight up, it'll actually hit the top of Reinhardt's shield, and then that technically counts as in Reinhardt's field of vision, and so it will stun the Reinhardt even though you threw it at the top of the shield.
Same thing with when you're trying to flash a Genji as well.
Yep.
You know, if Genji is reflecting, if you throw it a little bit farther away from him, either above or at his feet, he actually can't reflect that stun grenade, and you'll actually flash him through the reflect.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see how Raxa's McCree is going to come through. However, we have just gotten news that we are going to be able to jump back into the game. The game's not going to be restarted. They felt that the payload wasn't pushed too far or something that they couldn't come back from. So it looks like UCLA is going to be good sports and just let them keep it at where they had it. It was Sireku for UCLA that DC'd. He was on Diva at the time, I believe.
I believe that is correct, and we'll just have to see exactly what Sireku decides to pick here. It looks like he's going to go on Roadhog. It looks like they're going to go ahead and continue with that payload a little bit, just close to that first checkpoint. It looks like they're going to be able to get that. Raxa still in the back line. Honestly, we see actually a teleporter. They're right at the spawn. It looks like they're able to get that first checkpoint, though. Really interesting to see. You know, saying put that teleporter there. And
Questionable placement on it. Absolutely. There we saw Raxa missing his stun grenade. However, Pip is going absolutely massacring the backline of Stanford. Corky going down. Shimex going down. Alex going down. AXD6 falling as well. Raxa, Juggernaut, and Pip are not taking any prisoners this game. UCLA unstoppable.
Oh, you know, don't mind me. I thought they got that first checkpoint. They defended it. UCLA got back to that checkpoint so quickly. I swore it was right on it.
Goodness.
That's absolutely insane. You know,
Close.
UCLA doing such a good job still on that Symmetra.
Within 3 meters, Symmetra, Raxa, double kill with the headshot, and another one on Corky, triple kill for Raxa, and he immediately gets clubbed down by Prodigal Son. Prodigal Son having none of Raxa in the backline.
And it looks like Ace of Base is going to have to back off just quite a little bit and see what he can do. UCLA, this defense is phenomenal. They defended that first checkpoint. They defended the Bastion composition. Looks like they had to switch off immediately. Now we see Shimex on Widowmaker. Like I had said, he needed to get those key picks.
Other than that one teleporter, I don't think I've seen Sang do necessarily anything on Symmetra. He's just kind of around. Maybe the laser cannons are doing some work and we're just not able to see it. However, Pip is on the payload with his ultimate. Stanford's not going to be able to push into Pip with a Junkrat tire. It's not happening today.
You see Pep, you know, really just spamming that corridor there, making sure that nobody can really get on that high ground. Looks like actually Stanford is going to push over to the right a little bit, and Shimex in the back lane, getting 2 picks.
Prodigal
Absolutely
Son.
Huge.
Prodigal Son with the Earth Shatter, taking 3 people out.
Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, Juggernaut rather. Excuse me, Juggernaut taking 3 people out with that Earth Shatter. Phenomenal counterplay from UCLA with their tanks, and Raxa was able to clean up and capitalize on the opportunity that was given to him by Juggernaut. Outstanding counterplay by UCLA. However, we see Stanford on Shimex. That was the Widowmaker play that we said that they should have been taking from second one, Zader.
And, you know, and as soon as he switched over, he was able to get in the back lane. He got 2 massive picks, but unfortunately Juggernaut was able to get a very, very key Earth Shatter there, and here we're going to see they're going to try to push that payload there. Looks like it's already backed up to that bridge.
Shimex headshotting Raxa.
good shot from Shimix. Let's see if they can capitalize on the best DPS player on the UCL team going down.
And it looks like UCLA is going to vouch for that teleporter. It looks like Raxa is able to get back. Oh, immediately, but unfortunately Shemix says, Raxa, no, you're not allowed to do that.
Sireku countering around the right side with a Junkrat hook. Pip immediately pancake bombing Shimex into oblivion. Valkyrie being popped here from Atlas on Stanford.
And here we see 10 seconds go. It looks like we're going to have to be going into overtime here for Stanford's push. All the ultimates coming out. AXD popping the tactical visor. Not really able to find anything because Juggernaut's shield was just right up there in his face. And let's see what they're going to be able to do. It looks like that teleporter still has 1 or 2 charges left.
1 second left into overtime. However, Pip's Junkrat bomb is coming right here. Starting the push from Stanford. They have got to get on the point right now. And it's not enough with the Diva bomb. A couple seconds too late.
UCLA is going to take the last and final map that we have here today, going 4-0 in this show match. UCLA, absolutely amazing show match. Raxa giving us all the entertainment that we needed with all the flanks, everything that he needed to do.
And that high noon, immediate triple kill. Prodigal Son, however, slaps him in the face with the hammer. Good job.
Prodigal Son telling Raxa, great play, but here's a hammer.
Here's a hammer.
You know, phenomenal performance from both teams.
I agree.
I think Stanford, for being against a team like UCLA, did a very, very good job. UCLA's Raxa is absolutely amazing. I have no complaints about him, but also Shimix, you know, saying that, you know, Raxa, I have an answer for you, and Shimix did that towards the end of the game. He took out Raxa twice.
Stanford, absolutely, I agree with you. They did a good job of trying to make themselves relevant against UCLA. UCLA comes out on these games so strong. Their front lines, their back lines, their coordination, it must be incredibly intimidating for a team like Stanford to go up against. However, I think they did a good job. Shimix was able to get flawless pick after pick after pick on that Widowmaker at the very end there on Dorado. Prodigal Son, absolutely impressive hammer down earth shatter plays that we saw going into the fights right there. He landed, I think, 2 or 3 different 5 or 6 man ultimates on Reinhardt. That is no easy feat to do, I can tell you that much.
You know, definitely as a Reinhardt player here myself, sometimes I don't find those earth shatters just as easy as Prodigal Son was making them, but man, he was making those earth shatters look really easy. And also so was Juggernaut, both of them very skilled Reinhardt players, honestly, looking for those earth shatters and making sure that they had the correct earth shatters coming out. And, you know, absolutely phenomenal Reinhardt plays, absolutely phenomenal Widowmaker plays. Saying on the Mei, absolutely phenomenal Mei plays. You know, we saw so much in this show match today. You know, we don't know what we're going to be able to see here in these up-and-coming games. It's definitely going to be a very exciting few weeks here for this spring season of PACG.
I am so much looking forward to looking at these teams compete individually in their own brackets, as this was just a show match like we mentioned before. I think watching Shimix and Raxa go at it was almost as entertaining as watching Prodigal Son and Juggernaut go back and forth with their Roadhogs, with their Reinhardts. Both of those 2 players, phenomenal. Raxa and Shimix, hats off to you guys. The Lucio ulti on Temple of Anubis, I think that's my play of the game.
Yeah, I think
play of the day.
Play of the day. Yeah, that Lucio was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the timing on it was I'd almost say perfect. He didn't get caught by the Shatter, and then he didn't get caught by the Reaper ultimate, which let him get that ultimate down. He had perfect positioning, and that's very hard to do as Lucio. You're very slidey, you're very fast, and you know it's difficult to do.
The positioning on Lucio, you would think it's kind of not relevant because Lucio, he can only heal in such a tiny little radius around himself, so he has to be near his tanks, he has to be near his DPS, he has to be with the team. If you land an Earth Shatter, if you land a Graviton Surge, I'd say 9.9 times out of 10, Lucio's going to be in the Earth Shatter. Lucio's going to be in the Graviton Surge. Phenomenal foresight from UCLA's Lucio player to decide, hey, they might have their ultimates. I'm going to back off a little bit and try and support from the backline. And then once that Earth Shatter landed and Reaper used his ultimate, his Death Blossom, he was right there. Dropped the sound bomb. Sound barrier.
I wish it was a sound bomb.
That would be cool.
That would be great.
Anyway, no one died. So I think that is why Lucio, in my mind, is definitely, that was the MVP play of the day. However, Raxa, player of the game.
You know, I definitely agree with you. Raxa did have a great play there. And here we're going to see an overview of all the maps. Do you want to go ahead and hit that first?
Of course, Zader. A quick recap for Kings Row. We saw Stanford actually able to cap their push through. Not as clean as UCLA was able to do. However, UCLA was able to counter in overtime with a clean 3-1 take. Temple of Anubis, UCLA took it in under a minute and a half. Stanford incapable of capping the first point. Lijiang Tower 2-0. One of the matches was 100% to 0, and the other was 100% to 21%, I believe. Dorado, UCLA once again taking the matchup 3-0 against Stanford with a clean push that was nigh unstoppable. Stanford, however, did their best to make it. They just fell a little bit short.
I definitely agree with you there. Unfortunately, the clean sweep there with UCLA, and we'll just have to see exactly what they're going to be able to do in their actual match here that we'll see here in a few weeks.
I agree with you so much, Zader, and a shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us today and watching some fantastic Overwatch games between Stanford and UCLA and Colorado and Oregon University, to both of them. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our PACG Overwatch broadcast. We appreciate the support so much and trying to get this initiative off of the ground of the Pacific Alliance of Collegiate Gamers. I have been Seth White Ninja, joined here with
Xander or Zader. And, again, like you said, thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in to this stream today. And we will see you guys tomorrow with, I believe, Hearthstone.